Opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or messages posted in chat are strictly their own personal views and do not reflect the views of Bolin Services, Inc., a 501c3 nonprofit organization, nor does it reflect the views of the sponsors of this program. Political commentary, if any, are strictly personal opinions and should not be construed as endorsements of or opposition to any political party, candidate, or voter initiative by Bolin Services, Inc. This audio-visual presentation is copyrighted by Kenneth W. Bolin. No rebroadcast, retransmission, simulcast, or other distribution of this video or the audio associated with it is permitted without the express written permission of Kenneth W. Bolin. All original content on this presentation is owned in full and solely by Kenneth W. Bolin.
Warning, the following podcast has extremely high levels of Kenny Bolin. Studies have shown that excessive exposure to Kenny Bolin may have damaging effects to your physical and mental well-being. Viewer discretion is advised. No, seriously, we mean it. There will be naughty words, lots of them, probably. Now you've been warned. This warning sponsored by the Story Time with Dutch Mantel.
Well, it certainly takes long enough, and that theme music takes a little while. And I'm sorry, but that's all the time we got for tonight because, goddamn, what was that, about 8 minutes worth of shit there? So tune in next week. Nah, we'll go ahead and do a show. What the hell? We'll go ahead and do one. I had to let the dogs out. So when I have to let the dogs out, the theme music plays. And the John Cena Sr. warning label. And the copyright label. All that's got to play when that happens. So we're going to get this ball rolling here. We're not going to dilly-dally around with my mouthy ass too much tonight because we got something happening here tonight. We have a bit of a reunion show. And I thought it was going to be all friendly and kind and nice and everything, but it turns out there might be splaining to do between these two. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in my longtime, well, not that long. What is it, 15 years? I can't remember. My co-host, I only knew him as Coletrane. So we're going to go, come on in here, Coletrane. I'm not even going to bring you in. You know how to do it. You got buttons. You let yourself in here, son. There he is.
The worst part about that is that you've only known me about Train is we've had like 2 mail debacles. I didn't realize your last name was Tivis.
I didn't. We recently were having a chat with somebody that I didn't know. And he says, you don't realize who this is, do you? I said, no, who is this? He said, it's Jason. I said, I know a lot of Jasons. Jason who? Jason Voorhees? Who? Jason from The Simpsons? I don't know. There ain't no Jason on The Simpsons. I didn't know his name. So we'll tell the story as to how I met our guest tonight, but he's watching the show and he chats in my Google phone and says, hey, he said, is that Jason Tivis? Well, I just had learned your name after all the years you've been on here. I didn't know what your damn name was. And I said, yeah. I said, how do you know that? He says, I know that guy. So then you, after I'd mentioned the guest name, Jayden Draigo, you said, well, how do you know Jayden Draigo? I said, well, I met him on a PayPal call. You're going, what the hell? Yeah, I met him on a PayPal call. I can't mention the guy from PayPal's name. If he's in here and he wants to talk about it, that's up to him. But so then you guys said, well, how do you know him? You said, Kenny, he trained me. I said, oh, okay. Well, so I went back to him and he thought that was cool as hell that my co-host, who he just meets me because the guy at PayPal said, do you know who Jayden Draigo is? I said, yeah, I've heard his name. I said, I've never met him, but I've heard his name. Yeah. So he texts Jayden. He says, hey, Jayden, do you know who Kenny Bolin is? Yeah, I know who Kenny Bolin is.
Who's that?
Yeah, who's that fat fuck? And he says, yeah, I know who it is. And he says, how do you know Kenny Bolin? He said, well, I'm on the phone with him right now on a PayPal call. What? So we get a 3-way call going after hours, of course. And we get a 3-way call going. And it was just, and then I, up until he was watching the show, had no idea that he knew you and that you had trained him. So let's go ahead and get him on in here. Let's give him the center square. Do you know how to do that? I probably do if I guessed around at it long enough.
I mean, I can figure
You've
it out.
done this stuff enough. You probably know how to. Let's give him center square.
This dude.
Get all this going.
Switch
Now,
around.
remember, you remember. Well, you didn't even give him an introduction. What the hell? What
said bring him in, goddammit. You didn't
I did say bring him in. I did say bring him in. Kind of what I say goes around here. Ladies and gentlemen, Jayden Draigo, who we just met, a week or two ago? Couple weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, yeah.
Oh my God, I know who's gonna like you. You ever heard of Vince Russo?
Oh yeah.
Who's that?
Vince Russo is a diehard San Francisco Giants fan.
Yeah,
we split 6 with the Giants early this year. We beat them 3, they got us 3. We being the Cincinnati Reds, I got a couple.
He's a wee guy with the sports.
I'm a wee guy with the sports. I could have quarterbacked for the Miami Dolphins if it weren't for that fucker Marino. I would have been a left-handed superstar with the Miami Dolphins if they'd have just gave me 2 or 3 snaps. That's all I'd have needed. But Marino would have been shipped back to Pittsburgh if I'd been there. But
2 or 3 snaps in the towel in the locker room.
There you go. But so it's So then he's watching the show, and then he knows your name, your real name,
my damn co-host,
which I didn't even know.
Well, so
and
So let me explain this, because this is kind of funny. So I'm watching.
Well, I'll be the judge of that, but go ahead.
I'm watching your show last week, Kenny, and I see Coletrane, right, and like he's got his glasses on, and I'm looking at him, and I'm right away. I say to myself, "Is that Tivis?" And
you did, because you typed it for him without me telling you, so you knew his name.
He's talking, and I'm hearing his voice, and I'm like, "That's got to be him." And then all of a sudden, and you guys watch Seinfeld at all? For fans?
Yes.
Of
I'm a big Seinfeld fan. Yeah.
I had this moment in my head where the guy says to George, "Oh, we all look the same to you, don't we, Costanza?"
Oh shit!
But then I hear Tevis, talk about Nebraska, and I'm like, dude, that's totally him. So
now we've narrowed it down quite a bit, because as a matter of fact, I had a customer service rep the other day with Venmo, and I'm talking to the Venmo person, and the Venmo person was from Omaha, Nebraska. Now, where are you guys from?
Yeah, Omaha. If
you're both from Omaha, oh well, there you go. Well, the Venmo customer service rep, because I know y'all thinking I'm just calling all these companies trying to get money. Venmo paid me back the $42. That Google, well, I'm still working on that one. That check should be coming any day. But Google took $42 from me for cloud storage. Now I pay 99 cents a month to Apple for cloud storage. I'll pay 99 cents, and my Apple phone needs it. My iPhone, my Google phone, I haven't used a third of the storage on that thing. I don't need. So if it was 99 cents, I wouldn't buy it because I don't need it. So somehow they got my Venmo account number and deducted twice without me knowing about it, $21 a pop. So they gave me my $42 back. And then he was a wrestling fan and had connections to the Philippines, but had moved to Omaha, Nebraska. So yeah.
You get transferred to Omaha. You don't move there.
Well, he was sentenced. Transferred is way too nice. He was sentenced to Omaha is what he was. Yeah. And then, of course, Peyton Manning makes you all famous with Has the story ever been told as to why Peyton Manning would call Omaha when he would switch a play?
Not that I've ever heard.
It has been told, but I can't remember it.
It's probably out there, but I've never heard.
You would think somebody would know. Let me shout out to some people. Walter Cotton, who's never in here, also never donates. Walter Cotton says they're having trouble playing this video.
But he's also on Facebook. So
you're on Facebook. You're freeloading. Walter, you got cash. You got money rolling out your ass. You got, I know, calls me uncle, never donates. He did buy a picture, though, bless his heart. Let's see. All good on YouTube. Okay, all right. And who we got here? Wes, God, know that name. Another freeloader. Billy Sellers. We're waiting on Billy to find $3 to get his badge back. He did make a commitment to buy a nice photograph from us. We'll talk about that when I actually have it in my possession and it's here in the home. But one of our big supporters of the show has agreed to send us a couple more pictures to auction off on the show. And Billy has already laid claimant to one of those. And Mayla Lee.
Forgiven the Rock and Roll Express yet?
Tyler Cox. I don't think he's forgiven the Rock and Roll Express yet. He has not. Mayla Lee is the one that we're going to be building a bathroom for soon. She does not have indoor plumbing. It's got a big hole in her roof. Tyler Cox, speaking of insurance shit, Tyler Cox has an insurance check he's waiting on, I think from a car accident. And he's waiting on
one from years ago.
And he, I don't know if it's the same car accident or not. Maybe he just goes around looking for car accidents. Yeah. He sees car accidents and drives into them so he can get a check. And that's something I need to look into.
Because like Gonzo.
So he is committed to be a big help in getting her bathroom built. We also need to get her roof fixed. So we're going to be trying to probably raise another $100 on top of what Tyler has committed for the Mayla Lee roof fixing, because the bathroom itself is probably going to be a little over $200, give or take, to just start from scratch and put a bathroom in her house. So now I don't know about either of you two, but I don't have to poop outside. My dogs do, but I don't. Well, they do.
Fun.
Well, you do it to piss the neighbors off. I've seen you. I've seen the video. And so we got Randy the Macho Man. Okay, here we go. Randy Macho Man Satterley thinks he's got some information here.
All right.
Omaha is the pass play in the West Coast. Well, I know that, but why Omaha? He never played in Nebraska. He didn't go to school there. He's Tennessee boy.
I read that it's just rhythmic. It's a rhythmic 3-syllable.
Omaha. Well, that makes
so is Tennessee though.
Well, what in the hell? Speaking of freeloaders, what the hell is Rowdy Ron Higgins? Rowdy Ron Higgins, a former member of Bolin Services. He was my accountant, Thurston Throckmorton. Well, mainly lawyer. I'm sorry, Crony was the accountant. I can't remember my own people. Crony was the accountant.
Name.
I can't remember. I don't know the co-host name, but Rowdy Ron played Thurston Throckmorton and was my attorney on the OVW television show for quite some time, and is in a lot of the clips in the old building, the original setup over there. And Thurston Throckmorton, and Cornette loved that name, and I can't take credit for it. That is the name that Cornette gave Rowdy Ron. Yeah, and Rowdy Ron, what makes you tune in tonight? We never see you in here. So welcome to Rowdy Ron. Thurston Throckmorton is what the wrestling fans would know him as on the television show. Yeah, you were the attorney. I see it kicked in. I'm 65 now, Ron. 65. I was 36 when I started. 36 or 37 when I started at OVW.
Have you taken your meds today?
I can't remember. I did take my meds, and that's the only reason I'm awake and doing the show right now. Let's see. We were all minions before. Exactly. The Ron, how many bumps did you take for Bolin Services? I'm sure you took a few. Jerome Crony was brought in strictly to be the bump taker because they knew I wasn't taking any. And Jerome Crony would take the greatest bumps ever. He played the American Eagle over there before I got there. Crony was one of the original OVW boys. And we've had him on this show before. And he's as country as all get out. He's from Hazard, Kentucky. If any of you's been to Hazard, Kentucky.
Hazard County.
Yeah. And I was charging the cat box. And well, good to see you in here, Ron. Ron has had his own medical history and seems to be doing better now. So we're glad to see that. I had sepsis back in October. They told me if I'd waited 12 hours, I'd have died. A lot of my fans were saying, well, why didn't you wait 13 hours? What they said. That was rude.
Damn, you
just wait 13 hours and then call the doctor. So, but I had a big day booking hotels today. Very successful day. I booked 8 days in Portland, Oregon, and 8 days in Seattle. Never been to either city, but struck up a couple of good deals. Dinsmore concussed me. I remember that. He sure did. We had y'all hypnotized. Oh, this is when Rowdy Ron really got over. Thurston Throckmorton got over to a degree. And I ain't saying it to be hurtful or anything. This was out of Cornette's mouth. We had him hypnotized. I was hypnotized to think I was Jerry the King Lawler. We're actually going to talk about you some here, but if you've ever done my show, we don't talk about the guests whatsoever. We tell stories about me for the whole show. You get your shit in when you can.
And you find
that
if you get it in, will interrupt the beginning of his quite a bit.
So we all got hypnotized. I was hypnotized to be Jerry the King Lawler. Rowdy Ron, Crony was hypnotized to be Hulk Hogan because we figured if we got hypnotized and we thought we were these wrestlers, we could beat Russ McCullough, a big 7-footer. And Rowdy was hypnotized to be, before we knew all we knew about Randy Savage, to be the Macho Man Randy Savage. Ron could do a perfect fucking Macho Man Randy Savage and even look like him. Well, not jacked, but you know.
I'm looking at the picture. Yeah, he's
Yeah, you're looking at the picture. So,
yeah, it looks like Macho Man after a few years of retirement.
It looked like Macho Man 26 years after retirement is what it looked like. So, and but Cornette loved it, and he got over big time with the fans, and he was snapping to a Slim Jim and throwing every week. He had to have a box of Slim Jims to throw to the crowd, and that was getting costly. Slim Jims weren't cheap, and he wasn't getting paid enough to cover fucking Slim Jims, so Jimmy had to start buying the Slim Jims. And but it was funny as hell. Pasta Tart's in here tonight. We hadn't seen pasta in a little while. I do have some donations to read here in a little bit. We got some challenges that people have said they're going to make. We got some commitments from a few people. Yep. Knocking on desk. Well, we've both done that recently. We both. I didn't know I was, but that's what they told me when I got to the
I need to
hospital.
just ring the doorbell and run next time.
There's my sweet little Eunice checking in with us. We raising money to get school supplies for Yaling and her family. 8 kids over there needing school supplies. We got some, but they need more. But we made a dent in it yesterday. Eunice has got like 5-6 people in her family that are needing school supplies, and I told her we'd do everything we could here tonight, and hopefully having if Jayden Draigo would just shut his mouth and let me get my shit in,
right?
Then we could make all these announcements. So why don't you two converse for a second? And I'm going to look at the phone, see what challenges we have, because I heard some were coming. So you two converse a little bit.
And Kenny, I just want to say, man, I really appreciate what you do here with raising the money. And,
well, thank you.
Helping people in need. Like, really, man, that's it's the work of humanity, man. It's God's work, and that's I think it's great. I think it's great
from an atheist. An atheist doing this.
That doesn't.
And Anthony Scaramucci tried to tell me that I am not an atheist. He called me the first time he did the show, and he's a devout Catholic. I said, well, I'm a devout atheist, and we go on and do what we do. And he calls me 2 hours after the show. It lights up A. Scaramucci, and I'm, what the hell? I said, he just did the show, and he's working for Trump at the time. And I answer the phone, and he says, Kenny Bolin? I said, yeah. He said, Anthony Scaramucci. I said, yeah, that's what my phone says. I said, you were just on my show a couple hours ago. What can I do for you? He said, Kenny, I just wanted to tell you, you said on the show tonight you're an atheist. I said, well, yeah. I said, I have been probably since about 8'6", to be honest with you. Confessed it at about 11. He says, Kenny, I don't know what you are, but you're not an atheist. And he said the same thing that Jayden just said. You're doing God's work. I said, no, I'm doing the work of decent people. You just have to be decent and kind and help and if you do what the Bible says, which I, like I said, I don't buy any of it, but if you do what the Bible says, that's what we all should be doing, is helping those in need, helping those that are less fortunate than us. If you read the Bible for what it says and what Jesus was about.
I was about to say, ironically, you're doing a lot of the Jesus-like shit, without even reading the
without
Bible.
Being without the long hair and the robe.
Right. So, but yeah, just a good person. I've noticed a lot of my atheist friends are some of the best people because they think that this is like your last shot, So
well, I'm not counting on anything afterwards. So be as good as you can here. I've even heard it said that this is hell. If you get through this, there might be a better place because you're in hell now. And,
there's a little something to that.
So I've never tried to look at it that way. I've never wanted to die. I've never been suicidal. I appreciate every day I got. When they told me I was 12 hours from death, I'm going, well, hell, I'm not ready for that. And at 65, other than bad knees, bad back, and a bad hip, I feel fine. And I think, like I told you,
those 13 ailments, I feel great.
Yeah, other than this, and as long as I can talk, I can do some good. Booking hotels for Tony, and they really appreciate what I do, and they pay me a decent bonus for getting them a good rate on hotels. And then we come here and do this 2 or 3 days a week, and just do the best we can. I think Ron and I are kind of somewhat similar in our beliefs. Bible also says to still. Oh yeah, sir, it sure does. Well, I wonder how many of our wrestling friends in Memphis are still with us today.
We got like 3 people left, maybe.
Yeah, we're down. Maybe what's in this chat room, maybe.
Well, when I was gonna make the introduction, I was gonna say, it's been 15 years, which is already past the prime for a lot of people in Memphis, but I'm not gonna say that.
And now, before I start looking up the donations and the challenges, I do have to point out Jayden's history. Jayden has ties with an old member of Bolin Services named Lance Cade, and we're going to talk more about him in a little bit because he's one of my favorite members of Bolin Services ever. I was told that Lance would never see a day in the WWE by Jim Cornette and Danny Davis. I bet them that within 90 days, I would have him and Mark Jindrak in the WWE. And it wasn't 90 days, it was 3 weeks.
Kenny, can I ask you something? So I heard, I don't remember who said this. It may have been Bruce Pritchard, but it was something that I was watching. Don't hold me to that. But they were talking about Lance. And whoever this was that I was listening to said that when Lance made it to TV, that he just didn't get it. Do you agree with that?
That sounds like Russo.
I don't know that. Because down here, he was a full-blown heel with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he ever had a day as babyface, and they nicknamed him Big Bird because of his long, stringy hair and a bit of a big nose. And if you looked at him when he was hot and sweaty with that long, stringy hair and a bit of a big nose, yeah, I could, if you put a picture of Big Bird, and people were bringing signs with Cade's head in a Big Bird costume, and he got more heat off the Big Bird shit. So, of course, once they started chanting Big Bird, he couldn't stand it. He'd cover his ears and come to me to hug me and make me cover his ear and just milk it for all it was worth. And he loved that Big Bird shit. Well, what made him look like Big Bird was the long, stringy, sweaty hair during a match. What do they do when he got to the WWE? He gets a corporate businessman haircut.
Yep.
So they kind of killed his Big Bird thing because that would have got over up there. Can you see 15, 20,000 fans? Big Bird. I mean, we'd get it for 4,000 or 5,000 at Louisville Gardens or a few thousand at Six Flags. Can you imagine what 15 to 20,000 people with Big Bird signs and getting? Because no, I totally disagree. He got it.
Okay.
They just took one of his big tools away from him.
Yeah.
And then he gets hurt, and they're telling everybody, well, you know, if you go to rehab, we'll pay for it. So he goes to rehab, and they pay for it, and then they penalized him because he went to rehab. Well, we can't have a recovering drug addict on the roster. So he did what they told him to do because one of their wrestlers hurt him. So I meant to get into all that a little bit later. Kenny was a champion.
That's okay.
Macarena dancer back in the day. I forgot how to do most of that dance, though, man. I don't know if I could bring that title back.
You were the king of kickball, weren't you?
You and God have an understanding. I got 3 gods in his house, but they spell their name dog. They spell it backwards.
Huh. And the real one is the one that spells it cat.
That's the real one. That one's outside doing whatever the hell it wants to do while everybody else is in here obeying the hound dogs. So I was going to turn you guys loose a little bit. Let me check the donations out, see what, if anything, that we've got. Any challenges? We do have. I don't know if Sonia Jenkins is out there tonight, but Sonia, if you're around, I told you that if you would like to be a part of the show tonight to promote what you do, we would love to have you. She might not be in from work yet, so you see, I don't see her there. Let me go to the donation board and see how we're looking. Oh my, we're off and running here, guys. Let me start with the smaller ones first.
No problem, Billy. It's still up there, bro.
Let me start with the smaller ones first. Let me. I tell you what, you guys go ahead, talk about what you want to talk about.
Are you sure?
And let me get the donations lined up. As a matter of fact, go ahead and kick me out. You guys cover. Go ahead. Do you got another question?
Nope. See you.
Yeah.
All right, man. What's going on?
I don't know what the hell's happening, man. My bad.
That's all right.
It man. It is amazing to see you, dude.
Me too, man.
Like it was like 2010, right? Am I right?
Roughly, yeah. Yeah, I was 32. So yeah.
And were you training under Magnum, or were we?
It was under Phoenix.
Okay, and
PWP.
Did we have specific time set up, or were you only able to, because we were only doing seminars at the time? Is
That what we did a lot of the seminars, and we had a few after Nate started getting his thing going. We had a few sessions, and then I wound up hurting my neck in it was a practice match with I ain't going to say his name on air, but you know who it was. But he had the same name as a scary novel writer. Let's put it that way. But it was a vertical suplex that was going to turn into a roll up, and my neck got held just a little too long, so it kind of gave me that little wrench around the corner. And after that, I thought, it's just probably, and that's right about when the whole turf war started. Like everybody was all mad at each other and everything, and it was just like, this ain't worth it for me anymore.
That went on for a long time, man.
It did.
A wonderful thing came from all of that, and it was Mac Pro.
That's what I understand.
I've done a lot of indies. In my run, I did shows in 32 states. So I've wrestled in a lot of places, including parking lots, barns, outside in a field, under a canopy, crazy places, skating rinks, bowling alleys, hotel room lobbies, in crazy places, right? And so of all the places that I ever went, when Magnum really took off, man, there was not, and maybe there still isn't, but at the time, there was not any indie that I was aware of that had the production value that they did. And you guys, I haven't seen any of their stuff in quite some time, especially since.
It's been a while.
Did you know, Tivis, that Nate, who you just mentioned, did you know that he passed?
I did hear about that about 2 years ago, wasn't it?
It was the worst thing that ever could have happened to this area.
And the funny thing is, we got to talk just a little bit before I knew he was really sick, before he went to hospice. And so it was a big shock to me that he was even that sick. But yeah, that sucked.
You know what, man? It was probably the last maybe 2 weeks that he was with us. Somebody sent me a text one day, and it was a picture of a shirtless guy, and I was like, who am I looking at? Who is this? And it took me, man, like 2 minutes to realize that it was Nate.
Really?
And that's, man, that's not how I want to remember that dude. But he's the most talented. He's the most deserving. It's a shame that he was not under a contract somewhere making money. I'm not the only one to say that. There's many guys that did say that even after he passed. Really good friends with, if you're familiar, Mike Kanellis.
Yeah, I actually saw him wear the Strive Forever shirt when he came out on AEW.
There you go, man. There you go.
Yeah.
And so, he was really good friend. They were really good friends with each other. And, I heard Kanellis say a couple of times that it was a shame that Nate wasn't under contract, making money somewhere.
It really is. And, I did get a chance to see him on 205 Live, him and Cesaro. And, so he did get that shot, and I did get to see that.
Yeah, and they had a nice little, for what it was, they had a nice match. It was
a good 5-7 minute match. Yeah.
The crazy thing about that was the Tozawa thing. So Tozawa had worked Magnum,
right?
Probably 5 years before that. So and
I was there for that tournament when he was there the first time.
Excellent, man. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, that's excellent.
Alrighty. Not to interrupt, but I did, and anything y'all need to continue on, feel free to do so. But the reason of the show is to raise money for Filipino families in need, and also for Louisville metro area homeless, and Louisville metro meaning Southern Indiana as well. My partner with Bolin Services Inc., which was all these tumblers and everything you see in the background, and this one here, and the logos everywhere. The logo on my hoodie. That promotes my company, which is the not-for-profit Bolin Services Incorporated. We are registered with the IRS in the state of Kentucky. All donations made to our show are 100% tax deductible. Gives us some advantages we didn't have over the last 14 years that we now have that really helps us out a lot. So we appreciate your donations, and that's the reason of the show. So we have to acknowledge the donations that we're getting and the pledges that we're getting. So we'll start off with the build our way up. We have a $20 challenge from Randy Macho Man, not Higgins, but Randy Macho Man Satterley from Lexington, Kentucky. He contacted me earlier today, and he has already made a $20 donation. That was followed. Go ahead.
I just said dig it.
I got a name you might know because he knows who you are. Do you know the name John Mosier? From I believe I know he's a Kansas City fan. John Mosier. He knew who you were because when he saw you on the show today, he never writes me about the guests. Okay. But John Roby said, "Yeah, man, I know him," and said that you were one of the top talents that he had seen. That wasn't.
Is he a fan? Because that sounds familiar to me.
John Mosier.
Yeah,
he used to be the co-host for Jiggy Jaguars podcast. I don't know if they still do a podcast or not, but no, he told me that he had seen a lot of Jayden's work, which I had not. I'd heard his name, but I don't see a whole lot of wrestling. Hell, it was all I could do to watch Monday Night Raw today just to know what the hell happened. I forgot it was on. And but he said he'd seen a lot of your matches and said your talent was top notch. That you were slick as snot in the ring, and that he really admired your work.
He can talk.
Wow.
Well, you will never know that here because I won't let it.
You won't know here. But
I'm not going to be outshined here.
John Mosier, I appreciate that, man.
Well, John Mosier had some very nice things to say about you, and also made a $30 donation to the show tonight. So we appreciate that. $30 challenge from John Mosier, $20 from Randy the Macho Man Satterley. And let's see here. There's where I sent some money out to Venmo. We have a $30 pledge from a very dear friend of mine. I hope she's watching the show tonight. If she is, say hello. From Natasha Davey. Natasha is from the Louisville metro area. She has lived in a few areas in the state of Kentucky, maybe southern Indiana, over the years I have known her. Hadn't seen her in quite some time. I invited her to come over and say hey, and she says, hey, I'm back to working again, and I would like to make a $30 pledge for June the 5th. So that was very sweet of her to do that. I said, we'll make sure to mention it again on June the 5th. But she made a pledge. And then we've got some other things that have come in. Here's a big one, but I'm going to save it. Hang on. Here's a $25 donation from Daniel Lemley, loyal viewer of the show. Donates just about every show. $25 challenge from Daniel Lemley. Double checking, seeing what we got. And
where's my darling Becky at?
Believe it or not, we got 3 more nice donations to go. Let me start. And believe it or not, this is the 3rd biggest of the donations that I still have left to announce. Naughty Nicole, Pasta Tart, was in here a little early. Pasta Tart, are you still with us? Pasta Tart, $60 challenge.
Woo.
$60 challenge from the Pasta Tart. We're making some money without Bob Hazelwood here tonight. Speaking of losers, he's watching the Dallas Stars tonight.
Let me check in on that score right quick.
They're down 3 games to 1. He said, Bob told me I'll be in a better mood if we win 3 in a row. I said, well, you ain't going to be in a good mood, are you? You're going to be a miserable mofo is what you're going to be. So
yeah, I'm not.
I'm rooting for Bob to get those 3 wins, so he'll be in a good mood. What score we got? No, nobody's watching fucking hockey right now. Shit.
No, I know the score, but yeah.
Well, you can tell me.
You want? Okay, yeah, it's 4-2. Yeah. They're down.
Oh, I told him. I said if you guys can keep from giving up 6 fucking goals a game, you might win. Yep. Well, they seem to be on pace for about 8.
The one time I bet on them sons of bitches, they were up by like 1 with seconds left, and
lost by like 3 or 4.
Yeah, like right.
Yeah, I saw. I don't watch much hockey, but I saw the end of that game.
Yeah,
because for Bob, I'll peek in sometimes and see how they're doing. I don't give a shit, but if it makes Bob happy, but Bob ain't been very happy lately.
No, he's been a grumpy Gus.
Bob. So that was the 3rd biggest of the donations I have left to read. So Jayden, you I don't know, man. You might have brought us some cash over here tonight. The second biggest.
I mean, certainly never intended to do that, but
okay. Well, I got to drop back down. We got 2 more smaller donations, but hey, man, they all add up. And we appreciate them. Well, there's Jayden Entertainment with a $20 donation. Look at that shit.
Who are those?
What's going on there? You know who Jayden Entertainment is?
With Jaded Zen Entertainment.
Jaded Zen Entertainment. Well, that's Coletrane. The Train just donated $20 to his own show. You got to admire that. Yeah, and then TC from the NC, who has pledged. I'll go ahead and say what he's pledged. TC from the NC says he's pledging at least $200. Woo. When he gets his insurance check. He's well, I haven't even started the process yet. I got to find a wreck to drive into, and once I crash into this pile of cars.
You ain't got to drive into it, man. You can just run up the hood and just flip up.
Just something like that. And he said, once I find me an accident to be a part of, then I should get a couple $100 within 6 months, and I'll send that to you. So
every wrestling fan tell you just have to know how to land, right?
Got to know how to land, and so he is. They do tell you that, and so he has pledged $200 for a future date, and he's pledging that solely to help May Lali get her bathroom built. Now it's going to run about $350 to do everything she needs between the bathroom and fixing this big ass hole in her roof. But we're about a third of the way there, pretty close.
Easy for you to say.
It wasn't that easy. But TC for tonight has donated $10. Okay, thank you, TC. Thank you, Jaded Zen. Nicole, I announced her $60 donation. I don't see if she's in the chat room or not. No,
with the pasta tart.
Oh, she's still here. Yeah, there she is.
Oh, there she
is. Pasta tart. We call her Naughty Nicole. We got news. I deposited the check today. Well, not in my account. I was looking for it.
So let's see. That's gonna be Tuesday.
yeah, more likely.
It's when sweeps hits on Monday.
I'm glad you got your check. I know you've been battling for it. Apparently he found an accident today, drove into it, and settled out of court.
There you go.
I think that's what he just got him a check right there. Yeah, he hit an insurance van. That's what he did. He hit somebody from AAA. I don't know what he did. Hang on here, because I said I got 2 more bigger donations, right? Hang on, I'm looking. Where'd they go? You remember Good Chris?
I do.
Because we have a Bad Chris. You remember Bad Chris, right?
I do.
Remember Bad Chris said some bad shit about me on another podcast, and I blocked him.
He might be creeping around mine. I don't know all of his aliases.
And then he begged me to take him back. Oh man, I'm sorry. We didn't mean hardly any of the things we said. So I took him back. He's been back forever. Never seen him in here. Not under his real name, anyway. Never seen him in here. Never fucking donates. I've written him 3 times since he's been back. Hey, we really need some help. We got these kids that are needing some shit. We got this bathroom that needs to be built. We got a roof needs to be fixed. We got kids need school supplies. We got families needing rice. What can you do to help us? Didn't pin him down on an amount. 20, 15, 30. He's got a good job that I refrained myself from getting him fired from because I could have. His boss wasn't very happy with him with the shit he was doing because I called his boss and said, hey, you got a little fucker over there working there lying about me, and I don't take too kindly to it, and I got attorneys that are ready to do something about it, plus the Louisville Police Department. So I saved the boy's job. I saved the little podcast he likes to go hang out at. He'll go to other podcasts and donate money, but he never does anything over here for the guy that saved his fucking job. So I got mad at him and I blocked him today.
That podcast is still up and running?
For now, if it gets one more strike, it's gone, and I control that too.
Well, all right.
I took mercy. Being a God-fearing man. I fear there is a God because I'm fucked if there is. So I am a God-fearing man. I think that goes without saying. So, and Billy Sellers is doing $200 to buy a very special picture, autographed picture that's on its way here from the Cena family. And Billy's good for that next week. But I'm going to take that money and go to Taco Bell. I just discovered recently that's how much you got to have to eat at Taco Bell for a family of. I got a burrito and 2 tacos. It was $9 and change.
Goddamn.
And they weren't that very big or very good for the $9.
Oh, you get minimum ingredients.
They did. So $75 challenge from Good Chris. And now here's his challenge. He says, I will donate $75. Don't have it yet. He says, but if the rest of the room will donate $75 from whence I read his message, I will match that 75. So he's challenged the rest of the room to do 75 from this
moment here.
From this moment here. Not because we have another donation.
Oh.
Adam McNair, old friend of the show, bought one of my briefcases and one of my crowns. You see the red one here? Well, I had a black one just like it from the King. And when I was going through weight loss surgery and we were about to enter COVID, he was kind enough to pay $800 each for my briefcase and my crown. So $1,600 was a big deal to me back then, several years ago. And Adam McNair tonight, no, he didn't pay $1,600 tonight. No, Adam McNair, I didn't have a crown in a briefcase to give him, but he has donated tonight, the biggest donation of the night so far, $120 from Adam McNair. We hadn't heard from him in a while, but he wrote that I help when I can. So between Adam McNair, Good Chris with his $75 and $60 out of Pasta Tart. Somebody do the math. That's over 2 something right there.
Excellent.
Yeah. So great. Yeah, we thank you very much. And we have another donation. Chamber of Deals. Well, someone's going to have to take credit for that one because I don't know who Chamber of Deals is.
You know who I think it might be, Kenny? I think it might be the PayPal guy.
That's who it is. He just
How do you know that, Tivis?
Well, because he said I'm the guy, and his name is Dad Knows How To.
It must. Yeah, okay, here it is.
Take a detective.
It must be. I wonder why he sent his money from Cash App night. And,
he told me that he was watching, so it's got to be.
Oh,
him.
good, yeah. He says thank you for having Jayden on your show. So very, very nice. Thank you.
Way up. He actually said something too.
Oh, did he?
He said, "I'm the connection. Let's go, guys."
Oh, I'm the connection. Oh, you know what? I read that and didn't dawn on me who that was.
Cool.
I'm glad one of us is smart to the business in here because I didn't know. Reddit says YouTube is not recording shows. You're full of shit. Yeah, it is. Your shit don't work. Yeah. Get new shit. All right.
So simply get new shit. God
damn it. What do we got here? Donated. There we go. Dad knows how to. All right. Well, I would not have guessed that's who that was. I would not have figured that out. But I did send him a link to the show tonight and told him, I said, this is your show tonight. You're the one that made this happen. Because if it weren't for him, I wouldn't know Jayden. And if it weren't for Jayden writing me when he was watching you on the show.
It's a crazy
world, and like we all said, man, it is a small ass world.
It
is a small ass world.
Super small.
And then bump into three people from Omaha. And
how's that?
One of them was by way of the Philippines, who now lives in Omaha, that works for Venmo, which is a division of PayPal. So you got me my $42, though, is all I'll say. And by the way, this young man here was very helpful to me as well with a situation I had going on that he will say he stuck his nose in and fixed the situation for me, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, Kenny, he told me what he did for you, and I was proud of him. I was like, good job, man. Good job.
Man. And I got another donation coming in, and this is the guy who, when we were having a tough time, stepped in to help. Oh, he helped get Jambi her washing machine. And Jambi and Jasmine, remember when we were trying to raise money for 3 washing machines? He donated half of it. He donated $150 a few weeks ago to help us get those 3 washing machines we were working on for Jambi, Jasmine, and believe it or not, the other one's name did not start with a J. So, which is rare in the Philippines. There's a lot of J's over there. But tonight, on top of all the other donations, let's see if we have another good deed by Bolin Services. Jeff Sanford has donated $50 on top of the donations we got.
Big dummy.
You big dummy. Thank you, Jeff. Very kind of you to do that. We appreciate it. Plus, I owe him, of all the autographs I've got for sale here, all these WWE autographs and everything, he wants mine. And I will get it to you, I promise. I still got to get Billy Sellers his autographs, but we're waiting on his John Cena autograph to come in. And Edge Copeland. That's what he goes by. His name is it's not that Edge Copeland. But he wants 2 autographed Undertaker pictures. And we've got them set aside. He will get them. He said no problem. I know they're coming.
And originality of some of these
Mr.
fans.
Lemley right there donated tonight. No, I've already announced yours, Mr. Lemley. So we'll announce it again. Mr.
Get
Lemley,
my shit in, damn it.
Get my shit in, bitch. No, he didn't donate. He's lying. He's a lying dog. He didn't donate no money. But no, and I said earlier in the show, this man donates almost every show, right? Didn't I say that?
You did say that.
You just weren't listening. You just weren't listening and watching. I did.
Remember the greatest nation in the world.
I'll mention it again. So how did you become his trainer? How'd that happen?
Happenstance.
That's in Tokyo, isn't it?
Did you just
happenstance? Tokyo?
How did you catch wind, Tivis? Because if I remember right, man, the only thing that we really were doing at the time was just like handing out flyers. So do you remember?
Yeah, matter of fact, it was years prior to that. I was in touch with what was it, the Austin Storm? That sound right?
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah, with the OWA, and I was just ready to come train, and then I got sick, like that. It was the intestinal sickness, so I was out for a while, and then OWA folded, and so I was like, well, fuck it, I guess there's nothing else for me. And then just one day I was Googling like to see if there was any old footage of OWA, and then it came up Pro Wrestling Phoenix. I was like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. And so I looked into it even further. I was like, okay, it's the same damn company. So that day, I think I decided to go on out there. And
let me ask you this. Whenever you came, was it me and my boy Hype Gotti that were doing the seminar?
Yes. Well, Hype wasn't doing it yet. He intermittently would come in.
Oh, okay.
But mainly it was you. And every so often Zach James would do a little something.
And what is anybody going to learn from Zach James?
Not a damn thing, because he was drunk every fucking time that's the reason I quit.
Dude, that's funny that you said that, because I just made reference to that recently about how that dude was nothing
hard to learn from a drunk, and I come from a stepdad who lived his life as one most of the time.
Liability, right? Liability. But the reason I asked though, Tivis, is because it turned into a full-on thing where me and Dusty, Hype Gotti, we were doing those seminars every show, man. Like we were doing for every show, and we had a lot of kids showing up, and it was a lot of fun. So I just couldn't remember what part of the stages of all of that you were, in on. I
came in right when Magnum started forming and everybody started.
Now wait a minute. You all said Dusty and Magnum. Were y'all in WCW and didn't tell anybody?
Dusty's the actual. That's the shoot name of a. He really should use a shoot
Magnum
name.
And Little Tokyo. I think y'all was in WCW.
No, it is funny because Skull Crusher Brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I met him at a party out. He lives down here. And he was talking about, in Minnesota, there's this dude that his shoot name is Dusty Anderson, but he goes by, I was at Hype Gotti, right? He's like, yeah, why wouldn't you use Dusty Anderson when you're up in Minnesota?
I think he would use that, yeah.
But he's right. That would have been using that name in Minnesota would have really been, that'd have got him over.
Yeah.
You would think.
Probably.
By the way, Billy, yes, I did see your 3 replica belts.
What you got, Billy boy?
I did see your 3 replica belts, but I don't know. I can't download them and get them up on the show and all that shit. But when Bob is back, I say after Dallas gets their ass handed to him tonight, Bob will need about 90 days of mourning. It is.
Let's see what's going down in these streets.
I think we'll probably see Bob September 21st, the first day of fall. I think we'll see Bob right when the hockey season gets back going again. We might catch him then.
Coming to the end of the second, still 4-2.
I don't know how anybody from Texas could like goddamn hockey. I just can't figure it out.
We used to have a team here, and then they just packed up and went to Utah one day.
The Phoenix Coyotes? Who were they? I don't know.
Yeah, it was the Coyotes, yeah.
Are you shitting me? Did I just guess the name of the goddamn hockey team?
Yeah.
I swear to whatever it is you guys believe in, I had no clue what the name of the hockey team was.
No, it absolutely was.
They were really the Phoenix Coyotes.
Yep. And then they were just like Indianapolis. They just left in the
next thing you're gonna tell me that Minnesota has a basketball team called the Timberwolves. That should be the next thing.
Or the Lakers.
God. I don't know what belts he's got. They got WWE logos on them.
I remember he got the Red Universal.
I was in the wrestling business for 32 years. We won a lot of titles. I managed John Cena, who was a world champion. I managed Mark Henry, who was a world champion. I managed Bobby Lashley, who was the world champion. Several tag champions, including Rico. I don't know if Bull Buchanan, Bull, I think, was involved in some tag titles, wasn't he? I managed The Miz, who was a world champion. Who am I leaving out? I don't think Carlito was ever world champion, so I can scratch that one off.
Rene Dupree, your tag champ.
Was he a world champion? He wasn't a world champion.
Tag champ.
You were saying
tag champ. Okay, yeah, he was a tag champ. Him and Sylvain Grenier. Yeah. So
tag titles too.
I'm trying to think of your whole.
I guess I should count tag titles, but there's really but all the WWE guys that I beat: John Cena, Rico Constantino, Mark Henry. Who else? They even had me beat the Big Show once. They were so mad at him. They had me beat the Big Show.
Oh, is that when he didn't want to go to the gas station appearances?
He was hot. Oh, that was when they had him do personal appearances at like 22 gas stations in 3 days.
Not for 10 grand a piece, though.
No, he thought he said, I get 10 grand. No, you don't. No, you don't. I have Brock Lesnar's belt. No, you don't. You have a copy. If you don't give it back, he's going to beat your ass is what's going to happen. You have a copy
Might catch
Brock Lesnar's belt. See, that was Jerry the King Lawler's crown. That belt never belonged to Brock Lesnar or John Cena or whoever else. They are copies. And I never have understood the fact. When I see these fans lined up, there'll be 1,000 fans in the crowd with replica belts that couldn't whip their mothers with replica belts. Yeah, okay.
Put them on with your pajamas.
I never got the replica belt thing. Now, if I had been the Memphis Southern Heavyweight Champion, that was what it was known as, the Southern Heavyweight title. Mm-hmm. It wasn't an AWA or a Continental, because eventually there was the Continental World title, the AWA World title. It was the Southern Heavyweight title. That's all it was called. Mm-hmm. And it was one of my favorite belts. It had a centerpiece, 2 plaques on each side. That's what Lawler had when he first won the Southern title, probably in 73, 74. Now, if I had worked in Memphis and I'd had that belt, and when it was time to retire that belt, it would have been an honor to have took that belt home, or an actual real belt that you worked and earned. Mm. And no, we don't really earn them, but when they put them on us, that means they think very highly.
It's an Academy Award. You earned it.
It's an Academy Award. Exactly. It's a trophy. It's a trophy. It's like when Jerry Lawler beat Robert Briscoe. And
Robert,
or was it Jack? It was Jack Briscoe. Excuse me.
I was about to say, I don't remember Robert.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler
that didn't make it.
Robert Briscoe was our referee. Pardon me. I had an old man moment. Robert Briscoe was a referee at OVW. So Jerry Lawler beat Jack Briscoe in Memphis, Tennessee. And when they raised Lawler's arm, his chain fell out from underneath his arm. Mm-hmm. And they disqualified him. So Lawler takes the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in Memphis, Tennessee, goes back to the locker room, and he is posing with that belt until they get back there to take it from him. And he's posing as the World Heavyweight Champion. So they come out to do Memphis television that Saturday. The match is on a Monday night in Memphis. Lance was, well, Lawler, dadgummit, you thought you were the World Heavyweight Champion there for a minute there, but they caught you with that chain there, partner, and Jack Briscoe still the World Heavyweight Champion. No, Lance, that's where you're wrong. No. I'm the World Heavyweight. Does anybody have those pictures that I posed with in the back? Anybody got those? So they're showing the pictures, and there's Lawler, NWA World Heavyweight title, just all kinds of pictures of Lawler with the belt. He says, Jack Briscoe sent some people back there, and some referees planted a chain on me, set me up. I never had no chain. Everybody knows that. I was set up from the get-go. So, they come back there, and they stole my belt from me. They stole my title. He said, but what Jack Briscoe has, he has a trinket. He has a symbol. All that belt is a symbol. The title is what's important. I possess that now. He merely has a trinket. So your true NWA World Heavyweight Champion is me, Jerry the King Lawler. I'm your World Heavyweight Champion. Briscoe, he's a phony. He has a trinket, a symbol. I'm your World Heavyweight Champion. So, and I remember that promo like it happened because that's what Trump does today. If he tells something over and over, people fucking believe it.
There you go.
Stupid people. So that's what Lawler did. He took advantage of stupid people.
Isn't that wrestling in general?
Oh, there's my sweet friend Natasha. She's in here, and I mentioned her $30 play. I should have said $300. She pledged $30, and I think is going to come by and see me here sometime soon. Natasha and I have been friends for some time, and haven't seen each other in a while. And I showed her my porch and the banners, and she said, "I think I'll find you. You seem like you might be an easy person to find."
I think eventually you'll get there.
Just look for one of those logos, and am I holding it up right? There we go.
Where's
just look for one of those logos on my porch, and I think you'll find me. But thank you, Natasha. That was very sweet of you to do that today. And Billy will be purchasing, to go with his WCW World Heavyweight title belt, he will have him an autograph picture of John Cena Sr. and John Cena Jr.
Nice.
Or is also known as John Cena. So, and by the way, I got so carried away with my logos.
Classic.
The dog leash now. It's Bolin Services.
Oh, my damn.
Corporate logos. And I did that for 2 reasons. One, I thought it looked good on a black leash. And for 2 reasons, if I lay this down on a black bath towel, a black blanket, sometimes when I have my sofas done in black, or if it falls onto the black carpet, I can't find the goddamn dog leash. Well, now with that big bold ass logo on it. Yeah, or step on it. Now, I hold it upside down. Is it upside down? Yeah. So now that I have that big bold ass logo on there, I don't lose my leash anymore. How about that? So there we go. What we're doing, something else we're doing. I haven't announced this yet. What do you think of the tumbler there, Coulter? You'd be happy to slap your lips on that and suck some Kool-Aid out of there, wouldn't you?
Damn right. I love
some
slapping up.
Some cherry Kool-Aid. I like the cherries. Well, I say Kool-Aid. It's actually the red. The red Kool-Aid. Crystal Light is what I don't put Kool-Aid in. It's Crystal Light and 0 calorie, and that's what I make my drinks in here. And I got an idea last night to throw that logo on there to see what it would look like. I think it looks pretty good. What do you think?
That's pretty snazzy.
Yeah.
On the black tumbler, the Filipinos are loving it. Want me to mail them over there? I said, yeah, I'm going to spend $50 to mail you a $5 tumbler.
I was about to say you'd
That's
have
what
to
I'm
send
going to do.
to that.
So now they're looking up how to get their own made, and it turns out they're about $11 each to make.
Wow.
They will actually etch the logo on there for you. Wow. It ain't no sticker like I have. That's a sticker. I'll be honest with everybody. That's a sticker. But they're they will etch it on the tumbler for you for $11. I said, all right, maybe a couple of you.
I'll tumble for you.
Maybe a couple of you. I'll tumble. Little. That wasn't Manfred Mann and his Earth Band. That was Boy George. That was Boy George.
Yeah. I remember.
Here we go. Oh Jesus, Billy.
Don't be a hero.
Billy. Don't be an idiot. What do you
Kenny,
want a Paul Heyman belt for?
Kenny, can I ask you how your
relationship
was, or how you got along with Ian Rotten?
It was horrible. It was fucking horrible is what it was.
Really?
You want to tell me?
It was so bad. We normally forbid his name to be mentioned on this show, but every now and then I have to mention it because me and Dutch Mantell worked there at the same time.
I didn't.
And that was where me and Dutch really got to be good friends at. Okay. And Dutch gave me the best advice. As a matter of fact, I told him he better be in here tonight. I told him to be on this show tonight. And that coward ain't on. You're a chicken shit, Dutch Mantell. I know you're watching, and you ought to be on the show with me right now, but you know I verbally slaughter you. You know if we get into political debate, I'll eat you alive.
Yeah, that's true.
So you better sit there and keep trembling and open your pickle jars in your recliner. There's a backstory to that. There's a backstory to that I'll tell off the air.
Okay.
Get your pickle jar open, Dutch. Dutch is my buddy. Me and Dutch talk 2 or 3 times a week. But Dutch gave me some of the best advice I ever got. He had never worked with me before. He had no idea that I even wanted to be in the business. He and I are booked on Ian Rotten shows at the same time. And Dutch, we're sitting in the back just talking, and through our affiliation with Cornette and everything, you know, we had a built-in knowledge of each other. And plus, he knew I was a big fan of Lawler for years and years. But Dutch was normally the good guy, Lawler the bad guy. So it was forbidden for even me as a fan to associate with the good guys because I was known as the fan of Jerry Lawler and normally the bad guys. I didn't really root for Dundee or Dutch or the Rock and Roll Express or anybody like that. And it was forbidden if you're going to associate with one side, even as a fan, and if you're privileged to be backstage, you don't associate with the other side. You were treated like one of the boys. You know, it was very strict back then. There wasn't none of this heels and faces riding together shit. You'd get fired on the spot if you did. Oh, the Freebirds came in and thought they were going to do whatever the fuck they wanted. And Christine Jarrett got rid of them in about 2 or 3 weeks because they came in and just thought they were going to. But no, I did not like the fucking that style of show. Needless to say, I did not care for ECW style of show. Anybody will stop and watch a fucking car wreck, but apparently not very many. Because when WWE is selling 20,000 tickets, ECW is drawing 2,000 or 3,000 at best, maybe 3,500 on a good night. And it's the same fucking fans that'll travel a 1,200-mile radius to see that circus show. And this is my opinion. And if you're one of those 3,500 people or 2,500 or 1,800 or however many it was, if that's what you want to see, go see it. I'm all for you going to see it. I didn't want to be a part of it. I was over there. I'd manage in 9 out of 11 matches a night. 7 of the 9 would have fucking blood. And then they started wanting me to get blood, which I said, no, I get $75 to $100 a night. No, I didn't realize that a lot of the boys were over there for working 10 and 20 bucks. They thought I should be bleeding, but he knew I had ties to Cornette. And what a lot of people don't know, and I've told the story here before, Ian was supposed to get the developmental deal for the WWE. Cornette was going to come there. Ian had the better building. Ian always had good talent coming in. Ian had money marks all over the place that had won lotteries or lawsuits or what the fuck ever. And they would pour money, and that's how Ian would have the money to bring in these big stars. And Ian was a jock sniffer. Ian wanted to be seen with big stars. So when I forget even, Dennis Corluzza introduced me to Ian. Dennis Dennis wanted an assistant. Dennis had worked with me in Philadelphia and really liked my work. I did 5 matches in Philadelphia. And he said, man, you would be great with me. He says, I do these shows in Louisville. Will you come work with me? I said, sure, because I thought I was working with Dennis Corluzza. I didn't know anything about Ian Rotten. So I go there and I see this circus sideshow and I'm going, fuck, I ain't doing any of that shit. I said, I'll manage these guys. I ain't doing none of that stupid shit. You know, for $75 fucking dollars. He said, well, Kenny, a lot of these guys either work free, 10, 20 bucks.
I never wanted to either. Yeah, I never wanted to do it.
Yeah, and some people, like Cash Flow, who's now appearing on
I had
Tulsa King.
A few of my first matches with IWA was against Cash Flow.
Oh yeah, well, Cash Flow. Have you seen him on Tulsa King?
Yeah, well, no, not on Tulsa King. I saw him on that other thing.
What else was he on?
He was on that show on Netflix.
Oh, the wrestler.
Yeah.
I was on there. I was supposed to have been on like every episode because they came here and they filmed me for 5 days. They filmed me at OVW for several hours. And Netflix was coming to my home because they said, well, we got you. You're about the only one of all these people that can talk. So yeah, you're going to probably be on every episode. So the episode, so it airs, and me and Al Snow did a show together the night before it aired on Netflix. Al is under the assumption I'm going to be in a shitload of episodes. And then episode 1 comes up, and I didn't have Netflix. I wasn't going to buy it unless I was on every episode. Then I'd see what the hell they filmed, what they cut, what they didn't. And I guarantee you they had 12, 13 hours of footage of me, at least. And so the first episode airs, and I'm in there for a second. It's a clip of me and Cena, and it wasn't even what they shot. It was a WWE clip that they bought of OVW, me and Cena. And I'm in it for about like a second in episode 1, never was seen again. So I contact the young lady that set up all these interviews and had me come to the 1200th episode and do commentary over a couple of the matches. And I sit out there at the table and was interviewed mainly by Netflix all night because no one else could do a fucking interview. So I'm carrying the load. And then I said, well, why am I cut out of episode 1? They said, oh, well, Kenny, you're probably not going to be in any more. I said, why is that? Well, and this is the kind of I guess a backhanded slap to OVW. You represent all the success of OVW. Season 1 is going to be focusing on the failures, and we don't want you associated with that.
Oh,
okay. But you'll be all over season 2. And then something happened with WWE getting the rights with Netflix and everything. They didn't want the competition. So if there is a season 2, it will not be on Netflix
because it would interrupt WWE.
Because it would interrupt with the WWE agreement. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, but I'm pretty sure Cash Flow's all. I never saw it. I never saw any of them. I only saw the clip I was in. I didn't see any of the wrestler.
Right on.
So, but a lot of people did.
I watched it. It's kind of forgettable, to be honest. I can't remember a lot of it.
I watched it because they had, Netflix had, which I thought was cool, but Netflix had like Cash Flow in picture of the show whenever you went to click on it, and I was rolling and I'm looking at this dude and I'm like, that's Cash Flow. Play.
Yeah. Doesn't look like he did when we worked with him, did he?
No, he doesn't. And
two different guys. You'd never know they're the same guy.
Cash Flow though, man.
Because Cash Flow was a little skinny punk with a corporate man haircut back when I was there. Now you might have got there later. I was there in like 95 or 96.
So yeah, so when I
97.
When I dealt with Cash Flow, I feel like he was much bigger than that at that point, because I was just felt like he was much, much bigger than me.
But see, Cash would do anything for Ian. He'd bleed. He'd take light tubes. He would do any fucking thing. He was very loyal to Ian.
He would, but that's what I was gonna say. Not to Ian, but Cash Flow was great to me. He was always cool to me. He never and he certainly could have kicked my ass if he wanted to. I was the new guy there. If he wanted to, he could have, and there wouldn't have been anything about it. Any of those guys could have. And
now, where did you work these IW shows? Oh, that's when you got the ride from Punk to Dayton.
I think we were going to Milwaukee, man.
Milwaukee, okay. Well, that was part of that circuit. Chicago, Dayton,
Milwaukee.
And yeah, CM Punk was kind enough to offer him, because he was asking me which side of CM Punk did I know. I said both. I know the nice guy and I know the asshole. He said, well, I only know the nice guy. I said, well, there's probably some people do. And he told me that Punk, and you didn't ask for a ride. He just knew you needed a ride to Dayton. He said, well, come on, kid, ride with me. I said, I guarantee you that happened, because that's exactly what he would say.
Yeah.
Come on, kid. Even back then, come on, kid, ride with me. Everybody was kid. Even at OVW, he'd call a lot of them kid.
And too, I'll tell you, whenever I was doing those IWA shows, like I have lots of memories. So every time I would go there, usually I would stay. A lot of us would stay at Chris Hero's house, because he had him and Mark Wolf. They had this huge house. And
I remember Chris Hero. Yeah.
He would graciously, generously allow 5, 7, 8, 10 of us to stay inside his house.
I would have never done that. I'm a nice guy. Ain't 10 of you motherfuckers staying in my house.
He would.
Somebody gonna steal something, and then I won't know who did.
But
if only 1 or 2 of you stay, I can narrow it down.
I really good memories of like
somebody's going to take my good Pepsi out of the fridge, and then I'm going to narrow it down. All right, who got the good Pepsi? Who didn't get off brand? Who didn't get off brand? I want a name. So, I've done that recently. Hey, what are you doing? That's name brand. Put that shit back off brand for guests. Put that name brand back in the fridge. That's $11 a 12-pack right there. More? No, I don't pay that much, but it could cost that much, and that's good enough for me.
And Kenny, this may shock you, but listen, I've heard over the years, and
I know that the he's gay. He told me a long time ago, and I don't hold a grudge.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Who?
Coletrane.
Talking about
Coletrane.
Oh
no. If Ian's gay, I don't know anything about it, then I wouldn't care.
Say what?
Oh,
no. Jason's wife told me.
She know, I guess.
Somebody got fired today out of the Trump administration because he got caught on tape with all this gay bashing and shit, and he was in charge of like the Kennedy Center. And he got fired the other day. Nobody can figure out why. Well, apparently somebody found all this footage of him just bashing gays up one side and down the other. Well, guess who? A lot of the performing people are at the Kennedy Center.
Mm.
So, well, they want that stock. They're not going to work no more.
I like that.
So yeah, he got fired. Yeah, piece of shit. Well, what else?
The Kennedy Center was resisting anyway, right? I mean, weren't they?
Yeah, they don't want anything to do with. I mean, there's some that'll still show up and work anyway, but yeah, the Kennedy Center was trying to stand up. Let me see if we got any more donations. Well, I think we're giving them a pretty good
Jayden, while you
rudely interrupted. Yeah, you were trying to ask something. That $50 donation is the last one we got. So I just had to check. Go ahead.
I don't remember, man. Fell out of my head.
Oh, well, we were talking about Ian. I guess you were wanting to know what my thoughts and everything were. And no, I was. And Sabu recently passed away. And the last show I ever worked for Ian, he found out that me and Cornette were going to go to OVW instead of him. Jimmy told him to quit with the light tube shit, the fucking blood in 9 out of 11 matches, the barbed wire. All that shit goes away. WWE is not going to be so. Well, I'll do what I want. If y'all going to be, if it's WWE talent, I guess they can do it. I'm going to do what I want. And no, you won't. You're going to do things the way we fucking want to do it, or we're not going to do this. So Ian kept fighting it, acting like he was going to do whatever the fuck he wanted, and the light tubes and all that. That's what sells around here, man. Well, okay, yeah, to a certain few of you, yeah. But you're not going to put fucking 6,000 people in the Louisville Gardens, or 6,000 to 8,000 at Six Flags, or go to Freedom Hall and draw 20,000 people doing the stupid shit you're doing. And so Jimmy said, fuck him. He said, Kenny, do me a favor. Danny Davis said he came over there and did a memorial show with you and really liked you. And I said, yeah, I know. I said, Danny hired me 2 years ago, Jimmy. Jimmy didn't know I was working both companies. And I'd already been with Danny for 2 years.
Mr. Two Networks. Huh?
Doing 2 networks, the CW and the big 58 on the CW, and Fox 41. I was a 2-network star, and you could watch me with an antenna. You didn't have to have cable. Just hook up your antenna, and there I'd be. 8 o'clock on Saturday nights, 1:30 in the morning on the Fox 41 with a half-hour show back then. And then when Jimmy got there, we expanded to an hour. But so Jimmy and Danny approached me and said, what do we got to do to get you to leave? So we talked things over and come to it. I said, it ain't going to take much, to be honest with you. I said, I don't want to be there anymore. I said, but yeah, I like getting paid. So they put me in charge of advertising, selling personal appearances. And fuck, I was making good money just selling advertising on the TV show. I said, well, I'll just sell the fact that I'm on the goddamn show. I'll sell the banner space. So I had $5,000 a month coming in and I got paid 30. I told him I wanted what I got paid when I was in the cookware business. I said, 34%. Well, goddamn, that's a lot of fucking money. I said, how much you making now? I said, you can have 66%, which is more than you got now. And I get 34, or you can have nothing. What sounds better now? You know? And so they let me have the 34%. They got 66%. I said, the way I see it, I should get 66% and you get 34. I'm doing all the work. Yeah, but we have the network. We're paying for the TV time. No, I'm paying for the TV time.
Yeah.
My money I'm bringing in is paying for the TV time. So, so it worked out good. So I told Danny, I said, I don't even give a fuck what you pay me. Just let me do the personal appearances. Let me book. So when we got the contract with WWE, if I booked Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I did, to do a $20,000 appearance, I got 34%.
Nice.
If I booked the Big Show for a $10,000 appearance before they got sick of him, I got 30%. If I booked Kane for $20,000, 30%. So I was killing it in personal appearance bookings. So I didn't give a fuck if Danny paid me 75 or 150. Fuck, I'm getting this personal appearance money and TV money. So as Jimmy said, he says, you got it fucking made, man. He says, you're making 100 to 150,000 a year. You work when the fuck you want. No one tells you what to do. You even tell us what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. You go to the WWE, they're going to, and Jimmy really did not want me to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that they really gave me any serious offer ever anyway, because Jimmy did not want me there. He didn't want me going to WCW either. He forbid me to talk to Bischoff or anybody like that.
Did you ever?
No, never did. I never talked to Bischoff till I never talked to Bischoff till the first time till this podcast. I had him on. He said, no, I had no clue. He said, I didn't know.
Interesting.
He says, and Jimmy thinks I gave way more shit about him than I did. He said, I didn't give a shit about Jimmy. He said, it was Jimmy that was over obsessed with me and Russo. We didn't give a shit about him. I said, well, I gathered that. So now I'm good friends with Bischoff and Russo. And me and Jimmy haven't spoken almost 8 years now. Been quite a while.
Has it been that long now?
Wow.
It's at least 7 years.
Yeah, I guess it was 5 years when I started with you, and that's been about 3 years.
Yeah, and we weren't talking then. Yeah. I did those 2 shows with Brian last, and then when Jimmy accidentally got on Russo's show, that was it. So every bit of 7 years, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Although we wish him Merry Christmas every Christmas.
Every Christmas, we call him up on his landline, same number he's had since 1962, 64. And I've known Jimmy since I was 14. I've known Lawler since I was 14. And Lawler still has the same number that I've known him to have ever since the 90s, I guess. Yeah, I think that's when I first got his phone number, was in the 90s. And do we have any more donations coming in?
Yeah, they dried up here. Well, as far as the comments, anyway. But Billy would like to know how much the dog walker is.
It was hot.
How much is the dog? You mean the leash?
That's what. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what he means.
Price on the leash? Tell him I got a blue one I could probably sell. Make me an offer. Do you
Billy,
need do you have a dog?
Make him an offer.
Do you have a dog?
Yeah, that is a good question. I've never heard him talk about a dog before.
But for anybody that ever wants to make, and I don't know how often I want to mail these things, but if anybody ever wants in the Louisville metro area that wants to make I was going to make it 50, but I'm going to lower. I'm going to make it 40. Anybody that comes to my home and makes a $40 donation, I don't care if it's credit. They can come here and PayPal me on my porch. They ain't got to hand me cash. I don't give a shit.
That's why the credit card get asked.
Because this way I don't have to mail it. I used to have the credit card swiper.
I
still have it around here somewhere, but I just quit using it because I used to sell merchandise when I'd go to Golden Corral. I'd take a bag full of headphones. It'd be like having these tumblers and going there and selling them for $69 a piece. I'd have a bag full of headphones, and I'd go to, and I had a credit card swiper, and I sold Beats by Bolin headphones for $69 each. I've never revealed what I paid for those headphones. None of anybody's business. I'm a businessman.
I think I know.
I had markup. I had tariffs to pay. I had tariffs. So, but yeah, anybody that makes a $40 donation or more, you can either have the BS flag. You don't get the big ones on my porch, but you can get the mini version. You get the BS flag, or you can have one of the tumblers. And I think I got about 10 of those around here right now. So that'd be, and then if we run out of those, goddamn, I'll order more and make more. So, and that'll be for, and if anybody buys an autographed picture of the ones that we have for $100 or more, let's show those real quick, and then we'll get back to doing some more real show shit.
Let's do that.
Let me find them. What glasses have I got on?
Did we get Tito Santana as promised?
Do we? I don't think we did.
Really?
Herb Simmons is not saying a lot to me since he didn't come up with very many of those autographs.
Herb Simmons is radio.
Oh, now Billy Sellers wants Rey Mysterio without a mask. It's Rey with a mask. Yeah. Oh, that's Cowboy Bob Bolin right there. Cowboy Bob Bolin, right? I told AI to make me look like Festus. I'm riding that mule.
Donkey and everything, huh?
Have you ever seen that one? Have I ever shown that on the show? Because I don't think I have. I think Bob slid that one in there.
Matthew.
See, I meant to show that one. When I beat Cena. There's my replica belt, Billy Sellers. But I beat a world champion. I got every right to wear that belt. Yeah. Who have you beaten, Billy Sellers? You ain't beat me. That's a good looking crown right there.
He says $40 is okay.
Okay, all right. Well, all right. Well, we'll get him the blue leash. Do you have a dog?
We got Game of Thrones, Kenny.
Cowboy Bob Bowen's what I call that picture. Rey Mysterio.
Hey, go back. You see how big your head is compared to the rest of your body?
Yeah, I did see how big my head. That's AI. My head ain't that big. Calm down.
Quit being that way. Baby.
We got the Kurt Angle autograph picture. Another John Cena autograph picture. Triple H. We got that's going back a ways. Now, all these pictures were signed back in the early 2000s, most of them. Shawn Michaels from a little ways back. Another Undertaker autograph picture. Johnny Morrison. I think I got
you
two or three.
Like 13 different names on that bad boy.
You could put a lot of names on that. Does anybody remember what name he started as? I've talked about it here on the show before.
Johnny.
Does anybody remember what his first name was? Let's see if anybody can guess it. Rey Mysterio autograph picture without the man. I think Billy Sellers has spoken up for that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if we got one or two of those. So Billy might be getting the last one.
He looks
another John Cena. Another John Cena picture. Bret the Hitman Hart.
That's a rare.
I got one or two left of the Midnight Express.
How much are those?
Those are. I don't think we've took any less than 150 so far. I think everybody that's got one has paid at least 150.
And Dennis is still with us, right?
Depending how well I know you and how good you've been to the show, you could finagle that maybe for 100. I've got the Hardy Boys going back to the early days when they were working with us at the Louisville Gardens. So there's the Hardy Boys. He didn't see that. And that's a cool picture right there.
Yeah, it is.
And I love Bobby Eaton with a passion. He was so good. Dennis Condrey's always been good. Dennis Condrey had a nickname for me. Does anybody know what it is?
Foghorn.
Ball hog. Because every time we play basketball, Bobby, we played a lot of 3-on-3 ball in Texas when I was down there doing shows with Jimmy. And so during the day we had free time. So we at the school or wherever, college or wherever we'd be, we'd play pickup ball against the students. Well, Bobby and Dennis couldn't shoot worth a shit. And I was an excellent 3-point shooter. So their job was to rebound and throw me the ball. And so I kept shooting because I could hit, and they were bricklayers. Those motherfuckers couldn't shoot a basketball, save their lives. So Dennis, goddamn, man, when me and Bobby get to shoot. I said, when you learn how to. I said, I can shoot, y'all can rebound. Y'all rebound, I'll shoot. We want to win these games. Can't have these college kids or high school kids running around claiming they beat Condrey and because they were famous then, and I certainly was not anywhere other than Nashville. And there's only a couple of those left. Me and Jimmy signed those last time we did a personal appearance together at Golden Corral. So there is that. And I think that's all the ones I got posted for now. Yeah. And of course, Ray without the mask there. And and the one that somebody offered me $30 never to show this picture again. Where'd it go?
The Bill Dundee.
I saw it. This one. Yeah, please don't. I'll give you $30. I'll give you $30 if you never show that picture. And now the Rikishi one is not signed, but it is a beautiful glossy picture. If anybody'd like to have a nice picture of Rikishi, but I worked with him up north and never thought to get him to sign anything. But
whatever lotion routine or whatever he has, I'm gonna have to get that.
I don't know, man. It worked out all right, didn't it?
He looks good.
That's the before. In case you were wondering, that picture of me on the left, that is me doing a personal appearance with Cornette somewhere, wearing the original Bolin Services logo, and that was me after weight loss surgery on the right hand side. My girlfriend at that time made that picture.
You look like your own lunch lady in that first picture.
That is me and Cena at St. Therese Gymnasium in front of roughly 300 people. This is me, Cena, and Rico at Freedom Hall in front of roughly 18,000 people as the OVW tag champions. That's awesome. It looks like we were on Monday Night Raw, and technically we were. We were the dark match before Raw opened, and the first match was not ready to go, and they wanted us to open up Monday Night Raw. So we were going to, but the first match got ready, and we were like 8 seconds from going down the ramp to open up Monday Night Raw and be joined in progress.
So you got that far?
We were in the gorilla waiting to go.
Rico was underrated. That guy was so good.
Rico was very good. He was very good.
He was so good.
And a lot of the reason, and Cornette will be the first one to tell you, a lot of the reason that Cena was as good as he was because of Rico. My first ever promotional picture from 1999, me and Jerry the King Lawler from 1977. I was 17. I was shut up. I was 17. You stop that shit. I was 17. Jerry the King was 27, and that was backstage at Rupp Arena. And then Jerry signed that picture the year he got put in the Hall of Fame in 2007. Wow. So I was a smart ass, and I signed it too. Look how much of my autograph I stole from Lawler. Oh yeah. And I've been signing my autograph like that since 1974. I would sign my homework in high school, and I had a science teacher that says, "King of what?" That's King of Wrestling, bitch. Got me 3 days off. Got me 3 days off, baby.
Awesome. So did Jimmy and Jerry have to hold both sides of your chin windows?
I love being a bad guy in high school, and she said it in front of just this smug ass science teacher. And I signed my paper, and she's going, "King of what?" And my name was Ryzen back then, so I signed it Kenny the King Ryzen, but did it the same way as Bolin. And she says, "King of what?" Ryzen. I said, "King of Wrestling, bitch."
Damn.
And off to the office I went, and 3 days of vacation time.
At least you did put her in a headlock.
There you go.
I didn't, but it would have been nice. I hated that bitch. Jimmy Cornette, when he sexually assaulted me in Barberville, Kentucky.
You loved it.
He wanted sex. Well, you can tell on my face. I didn't have it all that bad. And speaking of sexual assault, Kevin Nash, regardless of what everybody says, Lex Luger, myself, and my son on our matching Miami Dolphin jackets.
Are you crying on Lex's shoulder?
Lex said he would never let Jimmy touch me again, and I was so touched.
Thank you.
I was so touched. Thank you. Don't let Jimmy do that. Please don't let
don't let this happen anymore.
Wearing my Dan Marino jersey.
I was just about to say that.
You can tell I'm promoting the Dolphins quite a bit back in those days.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's Owen Hart with Chris that same night backstage. And Owen loved Chris with a passion. And just so you know, not to fuck with me, Jayden, did you ever one-arm body slam anybody?
I don't believe so.
Well, look at me, because I didn't know how to body slam anybody.
Look at you.
This little punk ass bitch is wrestling me at a high school gym. I'm wearing Jerry Lawler's tights that he gave me for my birthday. So that's right cool. Around 77 or 78. And I didn't really know how to body slam anybody. So I one-arm body slam this fucker. And Jimmy said, that was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I said, I didn't know how to do it.
That's awesome.
That's why it's called self-taught right there, son. Look at that face, though. I'm selling all the way like I'm doing something special.
I used to take body slam challenges in high school.
Oh, did you?
Kids that were over 350 pounds, or if I could put them in the torture rack, I'd get $10, which I always had the leverage.
I don't think we had anybody that weighed 350 when I went to Iowa. What school of fat fucks did you go to school with?
Nebraska people.
the transparent BS logo. I didn't even know that was there. Look at that. And then we give this out to great supporters of the show, the Boss Badge. Give those out. So, yeah, I think we've, and the only time I ever worked as Kenny Rising was as timekeeper in Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Nice.
And that's the only time I ever worked a show as Kenny Rising. Every other show. And the reason being, Jimmy did not know that I'd legally switched my name to Kenny Bolin by then. Because that's 1993. I changed my name to Bolin in Nashville in 1986. And this is 1993, and Cornette posted me timekeeper, Kenny Rising. I said, that's not my name, but okay. So I thought that was worth saving.
That's an attendant friend, isn't it?
And and by the way, just to show you how over I am here, Jayden, I did a big autograph signing out here at one of the local parks, and look at this crowd.
Yeah.
Big crowd. Big.
You know who's on the other side? Virgil.
Virgil lurking, trying to sell some shit. What Virgil's doing
there by himself, poor guy.
A Marvel Comics artist drew that for me. His name is Simon Williams. He's a Marvel Comics artist that lives in Wales, and he drew a few pictures of me and drew one of my mother when she passed away, and then later on he drew that for me. And there's Cornette, and then so when me and Cornette quit speaking, I said, can you do me a favor with that picture you drew me? I said, you won't have to work too hard on it. So this is what he drew when me and Jimmy quit speaking.
Bro.
Vince Russo took Cornette's spot. We made the background black. You still can't see Cena. And that's how that went. And that is my lovely mother and my racist, homophobic, piece of shit, Mexican-fathered brother who never found out his father was Mexican until, 2-3 months ago? When I found out he called ICE on Mexicans that lived in his neighborhood, I said, motherfucker, I got something to tell you. And that is 1975 or 6. Me wearing Jimmy Cornette's long johns. That's his shirt.
Drawers.
No, those are my drawers. Quit telling everybody that. I didn't wear Jimmy's underwear. That's Adrian Reynolds, who Bill Clinton held his picture up over his head. Because the Louisville Police Department beat him to death. And Bill Clinton come down here looking for justice for Adrian Reynolds. And that's when I was told you'll never be the most famous person in LaGrange because Adrian Reynolds' picture got held up by Bill Clinton. I said, well, under the circumstances, I don't want to trade with him. Bill can hold his picture up. Because otherwise, I got the shit beat out of me by the Louisville Police Department, and I'm dead. And I don't want to do that.
How does your life intertwine with all these goddamn interesting ass events?
I don't know.
You're
it's
like Forrest
weird,
Gump,
weird shit. It is really weird.
Awesome. It's awesome.
Me and Austin Idol backstage at Rupp Arena. That is obviously a separate night that me and Lawler got the picture taken. So that was another month. Yeah, and my son and many others have said that Austin Idol should have got the spot that Hulk Hogan got. More charisma,
Probably.
better in the ring, better look, especially back then.
How tall was he though?
He wasn't as tall as Hogan. I'm 6 foot and 1/4 inch. So
like
he what is he 6'1", 6'2"? No, he ain't no 6'4". My brother was 6'4". He wasn't as tall as my brother.
Okay.
I'll give him 6'2".
Well, he's got boots on too, yeah. So
he's got boots on. I don't have boots on. If I had boots on, I'd been bigger than Idol. So I think that's about everything there. And that is when Jim Cornette paid me for sex. He was that's his bed. Mm-hmm. He was $20 shy, so he didn't get his sex, but I kept his money.
He didn't cry, so that's why he got the money.
He didn't cry. I didn't cry either.
Tell him what the money's really for?
These are some of the people that we help on the show. Bob is a big supporter of Jelly Bean. I wonder why. Mm-hmm. There's Jelly Bean, and he helped her recently get shoes for her daughter because she was wearing sores on her feet. That's our sweet little Ruby May. She was 13 in that picture. She was 14 in that picture.
Pour some more water.
15 in that picture. I call her the Jade Cargill of the Philippines. She started there. Look at them little bird legs. 2 years later, she's I call her the Jade Cargo of the Philippines, and wearing her Bolin Girl shirt. That is our Eunice, who was in here earlier tonight, saying that her family needs school supplies. I think we can get them some school supplies. I think we'll be all right.
I think we did right.
And who else we got? That is oh God,
that's not Jambi, is it? That's
not Jambi. I don't know if we have Jambi's picture in here.
She's one of the ones that DMs me.
She's one. God damn it, Janine. That's J9E.
J9E. Yeah,
that's J9E. Oh, and then if I'm ever going to adopt a kid, she is she's now 11 years old. I think she's 10 in this picture. That is little Art Gel wearing her Bolin Girl shirt. That is the sweetest, nicest kid you'll ever meet. So appreciative, so sweet. And a lot of times when she thanks us, she's going off script from her mother. Just the sweetest kid. And how that girl could look into any father's eyes. And her father, I think, pretty much abandoned them. How that kid could look in some father's eyes and say, Daddy, I want, and not get it. I don't know how that could be done. But and here's Mylene needs rice. So we're going to get Mylene some rice tonight. I'm going to contact her. And the only Bolin kid shirt that I know of, but that's Mylene. So that's another one of the ones we help. And did we cover all the Filipinos there, I think?
Hey, whatever happened to Sonny Boy? Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask about him. That's Sonny Boy. That's Sonny. And Choco basically giving the same look. What you talk about, Willis? That's what you talk about, Willis.
Kind of has that
and then and that's how the women look at me. They don't look at Bob Hazelwood that way. They look at me like that. Oh, yeah. And I call him Little Kenny Bolin, and every girl I ever met. Like, yeah, white power. The white power shirt going. And I
look at the way she is looking at him, man. That
is the luckiest son of a bitch in the Philippines. If he likes that girl.
Yeah. He's probably too cool.
Little did that girl knew that he was going to grow up and have a head like that and ride a donkey. little
Matthew, you been practicing on
Matthew. Look, there's May Lali right there. There's May Lali looking to get her bathroom.
I saw Jambi earlier.
So Billy, you really want the doggy leash for $40?
And he said he sent a picture of the dog on Facebook.
Oh, well, let me go look. Let me see this hound. Randy posting why'd Randy post a phone number?
Where?
Randy, what's this phone number you just gave me? I know that ain't your number. Randy sent me a phone number, and I don't know whose it is.
Probably his 900 line.
So it says 901, so I don't. That's all I'm going to reveal of it. So there's May Lali. May Lali says she's hungry. Well, she's at school with her kid. Well, get some eat.
Get you a sandwich.
Oh, there's well, that's a cute little dog. This is my dog. Does your dog have a name, Billy?
What kind
of dog? It looks like I Want a New Home would be his name.
Whatever happened with the
Lord
that Donald Flowers had?
He's a cute little dog. He's got black and white face. And so he wants a Bolin Services Incorporated leash, and we'll take care of you that on Billy.
Billy sweatshirt too.
Yeah, and there's
his name is Clyde.
His name is Clyde. Okay, he looks like his name would be Clyde. Is that lawless? Randy, I don't know what you're asking me. Is that lawless? No, that's no. Oh, do you mean the guy on the screen? No, that is that Lawler's number? Well, I'll tell you what. He's asking me if that's Jerry Lawler's number. He must have looked it up. Well, hang on. Carry on. I'm going to look up.
Okay, I tell you what. Back to your one-arm body slam photo.
Yes.
I'll share a quick body slam story.
Go right ahead.
So, the first person that ever body slammed me was Shawn Michaels, and we weren't doing it standing. He was shooting us off.
I can't even say that.
And so he shoots me off for me to take my first body slam. Right, like I'm freaking terrified. He shoots me off, and he scoops me up, and he plants me, and he planted me so hard I felt like I went through the ring. And so I get up and I look at him, and he goes, "Let's do it one more time." and this time stiffen up your body more so you don't hit me in the fucking face again. And I was like, oh. And I did. I totally hit him right in the face. I didn't realize it as I was being slammed, but once he brought it to my attention. And so anyway, he shoots me off again, slams me just as hard. I did not hit him in the face again. And would you believe that after that, the hundreds of body slams that I took, I never hit anyone in the face ever again.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So I'm about to address Randy the Macho Man Satterley. I don't know how you got it. Somebody might have put it on Google or something. Yes, that is his number. But unless you have permission to call him, don't you dare do it. And don't you dare give that number to anyone else. Because that is not cool to be passing that around. Of course, you can show me because I can verify it. But yes, but unless he's invited you to call him, don't ever give that number to any other human being, and don't call it unless he said, "Hey, Randy, give me a call." And I can assure you, he didn't do that. So, and I don't want you even revealing how you got the number, because then other marks will be trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, I gotta say that's kind of it's a little murky and douchey to look up their home addresses, their numbers. Follow
now,
them
see, I wasn't going to say that, but you covered it for me.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Don't follow them in the airport.
Cornette was furious. There were some people that drove up here from Alabama. I don't even have the show on. I'm still in another world. Let me bring the show back up. Cornette was furious that some people from Alabama drove up here to see me. They were going to find me. They just figured I'd be that easy to find. Well, they didn't. They had my number, but they couldn't find me because I told them if you're ever in Louisville, look me up. So they were in Louisville. They were trying to find me, but they were going to surprise me. Not cool. Do not fucking surprise me, because I might not be in the mood to deal with you that day.
Exactly.
I might be naked with my dogs, and that's our business. So they couldn't find me, but guess who they found? Cornette. Drove right to his house and parked in his driveway, honking the horn.
I bet he loved that.
They were from Alabama.
Did he call the cops?
Believe it or not, no. I think he went out into his yard with a ball bat and threatened to and then when he found out how much they donated to my show, he kind of wished he'd invited them in.
Not a tennis racket, a ball bat?
No, he took a ball. He's got a ball. No, he knows that tennis. He can't swing no tennis racket. I told you he wasn't an athlete.
So I'm assuming the gate wasn't fixed yet.
Billy Seller says, "I'm going to give you my number."
You do that, Billy boy.
Well, you can do that, I guess. Let's see.
All right. Sounds like a date.
Yeah. He's hitting on me now. He's hitting on me. But yeah, so he went out and threatened them. And then he said they were looking for me. You found me and you can't find Bolin, so they called me and tell me the story with Cornette. And of course, they had to drive up that big ass hill. I guess they just thought it'd be cool to pull up Cornette's house. But they looked him up on the internet and they found him. They were trying to find me.
Your friend.
So here Mr. Privacy is. And I've told everybody, you've heard me on this show, tell everybody where I live and what my banners look like. And if you got the guts to step up on my porch, motherfucker, come on. You know, I might not run you down, but you ain't going to step up here and beat my ass either. And it's going to be mighty embarrassing. It's going to be mighty embarrassing when a 65-year-old man on disability whips your fucking ass for those that think they're brave. Plus, I got 4 cops that live next to me and a couple of badasses that live here in the building. And my son's normally a phone call away. So no one's took up that offer as of yet. But poor Cornette, and he died when he found out all his shit was on the internet. I mean, everything. So not much, and he doesn't want to change anything. He doesn't want to change his numbers. He doesn't want to move. So, you know, he kind of stuck with it. He's had the same phone number since he's a little kid.
That's a definite form of autism too. Like, just don't want to change.
Billy, Billy, I ain't trying to be a dick or anything, but it's very rare that I need to talk to anybody. That's why I do this show twice a week. Got everybody I need to talk to right here. And then I'm a little busy in my private time because, like I tell everybody, I got 5 jobs: sleeping, eating, walking the dogs, booking hotels, and a podcast.
Great job.
What 5 jobs you got? Well, sleeping, that's a job. That's a chore.
Big time shit.
That's a chore right there.
In and of itself.
And
so Draigo, when's the last time your back hit a mat?
It's been like 6 years.
Oh, really? That soon, huh?
Yeah.
It's been about.
Yeah, it's been like 6 years, man. And you know what's funny is I always
I will certainly let you know first thing tomorrow.
When I was in the middle of it, I never thought, I thought I would always have a hard time like walking away. And man, the last show that I did, honestly, dude, the last show that I did, my locker room experience, and I've never talked about this to anybody. It's whatever. But my last locker room experience, man.
Where was it at? What state?
It was in Nebraska.
Okay, all right.
It was a Magnum show, but I just the way the locker room, just I could see the writing on the wall, and I could see that I was the toy in the bottom of the toy chest now. And
why do you think that was?
Well, it's several things. So the night that
I've never heard anybody from those that know who you are. I've never heard anybody say anything negative about your work.
Well, I appreciate that. The one thing I will say though is that towards the end, like my body, probably my last year, you can tell that something is wrong with me. If like you kind of watch my stuff, I had this really bad pain in my back, my left arm, the bottom part of my left arm stayed numb a lot of the time. I had like this pain in my hip, and my body was just crooked, man. It was crooked and wrecked, and you could tell that I was doing things a lot less than, and you know. And so anyway,
how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
That's all right. I'm 45.
45? Yeah, I'm 65. So
unless there's
got a generation on you.
Yeah, but you know, I saw the writing on the wall, and then you know, man, I've never gone back to another show after that. The last show that I worked is the last show that I have been to since. And it was tough. It was tough, man. I knew it was over. I knew it was. And those first couple of months, 3, 4, 6 months or so was pretty brutal. But since then I have completely disassociated, and I didn't I would have never thought that in my mind I'd be where I am right now, leaving wrestling, because I loved it so much, and it was the only thing that I ever, you know.
My story is a little bit different than that. I left in September of 2012, and my son had pointed out, he says, "Dad, you don't wear suits to the shows anymore." He says, "You're the commentator on the show. You will go through and maybe wear your worst jockeying suit to the show." That's why I'm sitting behind a desk. I got a jacket on. Who gives a shit? I ain't dressing up for that shit, because our WWE contract had ended. Our TNA contract had ended because of behavior from one of the trainers, and I'll just leave it at that. And that trainer was still there. They didn't get rid of him. And I was getting embarrassed by the product. And I'm calling shit as I see it on television. And they're getting mad that I'm not doing the Cornette thing, to where you try to make everybody as equally a big a star as the guy that was on before him. And that's when the fans know you're full of shit, because, and that's what I like about McAfee. I think McAfee does a good job pointing out who the stars are and who's trying to be a star, who's trying to elevate, who's trying to get there. And some of the wrestlers would get mad that I'd point out that they're small. I said, well, Bobby Lashley is 6'3" and chiseled of stone, and you look like you went to the blood bank and forgot to say when. You know, it's two different fucking versions of what's going on here. And I'm going to call it as I said. But here's the great thing. The way Jimmy books these shows, you might beat Bobby Lashley. So here I am shitting on you the whole fucking match. You know you're going to get a spot to shine whether you win or lose. Jimmy's going to give you something, unless it's a absolute squash match. And normally, if Jimmy's putting you on TV every week, you're not going to be in one of those. And unless you've really, really pissed him off. So let me shit on you. And then if you emerge victorious, I'll look like the clown. So quit worrying that I point out you're small, because everybody fucking sees that. And everybody sees he's big. You know,
right?
I'm pointing out the fucking obvious. But when David beats Goliath, that's a great fucking thing. So be David. Let me worry about Goliath, and you worry about yourself. And they would get furious that I would point out that they were small. And
Jesse
then
Ventura and Bobby Heenan did all that shit.
Oh yeah, and Danny would want a list. He says, "Who's bitching?" Because one of the girls, I said she had cellulite thighs. She got. I'll tell you who it was.
Who?
And I'll tell you who got all worked up about it was Natalie Neidhart and Beth Phoenix. And I said it about. God dang it! I think she had a little run in AEW for a bit. Sabrina. Was that her name? Sabrina?
Oh, yeah.
Serena.
Oh, well,
okay.
me and Serena have been dear friends forever. I love Serena. Serena, I took to Jimmy Cornette's house unannounced because I wanted her to get better shit on TV. So Serena does an autograph session with me in Lexington, and I invited her to come with me to have a pretty girl to look at while I'm sitting there doing autographs and introduce her as a star on the show as well. Make her mean something. And for those of you that want to see a pretty girl, look what I got with me here today. Serena, one of our top stars, one of our top female stars in OVW. So I took her with me unannounced to go to Lexington at Paul Miller Ford. So on the way back, I knew I had to meet with Cornette, and I had her with me. Well, I wasn't going to take her home. I got to drive right by Jimmy's house. Jimmy was furious that I bring one of the up-and-comers to his house. I said, well, she's with me. She's my guest. I want you to know a little bit more about her. I said, this girl's got some talent. And I said, she's going to be somebody. And Bo's saying, yeah, you saying that because she got a pretty face. I said, well, pretty faces don't necessarily make you a star. I said, she ain't the prettiest girl we got. I'm telling Jimmy this in private, but she's pretty enough and she's good, and give her a fucking chance. And she's with me today. So you're going to put up with me and my guest, or we're just not going to stay. So, but he was furious that I brought her. Turns out falls in love with her, thinks she's great, loved her personality. And now he puts her on TV and she gets elevated. And then she, and didn't she do a little bit in WWE as well? She was both places, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was with the Straight Edge Society.
Yeah, they put her with Punk.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they cut her hair.
Yeah, that I didn't like.
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't like when they did that. But you know, sometimes you can do what it takes to keep your job.
Yeah.
But no, she was my guest there that day, and ended up getting elevated. And but so me and Serena are friends. I'm getting her elevated on television, so I know she can take a ribbon from me. So Serena, and the one thing Serena didn't have was cellulite thighs. So Serena's getting in the ring and said, there's Serena Deeb getting there. I said, look at the cellulite on those thighs, Dean Hill. Look at that. That's pitiful. What are you talking about, Bolin? So they watched the playback because Danny would have class after the show, play back the raw feed of the show. And then there's Beth Phoenix and Natalie Neidhart and Serena, and they get Serena crying. Oh my God, I can't believe he said that about you. Oh my God, that sexist pig, and they're losing their fucking minds. So I come into TV the next week and they're still worked up about it.
Oh my goodness.
And there's Natalie Neidhart and Beth Phoenix, and Serena's crying. And Beth Phoenix is losing her fucking mind, and Natalie Neidhart. And I walk up to him. I said, well, why Serena crying? Over what you said? I said, what the fuck did I say? You said she had cellulite thighs. I said, does she? No.
It's a work.
Exactly.
Duh. I said, y'all know what my job is on the show? I'm the bad guy announcer, the heel announcer. I don't see anything good in any of y'all. Well, that's a horrible thing. So I go to Danny before the show started. I said, Danny, Beth Phoenix, Natalie Neidhart, and poor Serena's out there crying. They are furious that I said Serena had cellulite thighs. He looks at me and says, but Serena doesn't have cellulite on her thighs. I said, yeah. And he says, and you don't say anything good about the good guys or the girls, right? No, as a rule, no. Do me a favor. Whatever you said about Serena last week, turn it up 10 times this week. We're gonna see what these fucking bitches are made of. So they're thinking I went back there and got my ass chewed by Danny. So I come back out and say, all right, no. Hold my hand up like I just got my ass chewed. Sit down at the desk. Serena gets in the ring, and I let Phoenix and Natalie Neidhart have it too. I said Natalie Neidhart had a face like a greyhound. I said, Beth Phoenix looked like she traded her ass in for a bus. I'm just giving them shit. So they're thinking they're going to be taken care of. No. Danny says, just amp it up to. So they're watching the playback, and Danny says, what y'all think of Kenny's commentary? It just smiles at him. He says, Kenny's the heel announcer. Grow the fuck up.
That's a
and
great
that was what he left him with. So
story.
And I think Beth Phoenix and Natalie probably still hate me to a degree because they got her worked up. I mean, I think Serena kind of knew what was going on until Beth and Natalie got her all worked up.
Yeah.
So
that's how it is half the time.
That was worse than money, motherfuckers. Y'all need to cash in a little something on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fellas, we are 2 minutes shy of 11. We did 1 hour, 54 minutes tonight. I want to thank everybody, especially all those big donations we had tonight. We had $60 from Pasta Tart. We had $75 from Good Chris. We had $120 from Adam McNair. We hadn't heard from him in a long time, but he more than made up for anything he had done or had not done. And my God, Daniel Lemley donated $20 because he made me read it twice.
Make sure you knew we had that damn $20.
Tyler Cox with $10. His insurance check just went in the box. We should get a little something out of him on Tuesday for Mayla Lee to get her bathroom going there. And we're helping Jen get her paperwork done. It's about a $350 project to get her from 125 pesos a day to 850 pesos a day. It'll be about 3 weeks before she gets her birth certificate. Billy says, I will give you $240 next Tuesday. That will be great. I will have your leash. Your picture should be in by then. And then I'll just mail you everything at once, your leash with your BS logos on it. And Billy, I'll also get you a boss badge. I will get you a flag and the leash, and I'll throw all that in and might even have another extra or two for you around here, along with your certificate of authenticity for your John Cena picture. Yeah. So, no, it was a very successful night tonight. And anybody that wants to help our families in need, if you want to donate after the show, even if it's $10 or $20, for every $60 we raise, we feed a family of four for at least 4, and in some cases 6 weeks, depending if it's a single mom with 2 or 3 kids. Jambi says every time we get her 25 kilograms of rice, that will normally last her about 3 weeks because she's got the dog she's feeding. But Jen, who we're helping get this paperwork to get her a better job, she says 25 kilograms of rice last her 6 weeks because it's her and her 2 elderly parents. So, so we do what we can, where we can, and when we can, but we can't do it without you guys. And some of you out there, well, he donated 120. I ain't got that. If you got 20, well, guess what? If 6 of you do 20, that's 120. And it does a lot of good, and especially when you team up like that. So never be ashamed of a $10 or a $20 donation because it all adds up. And we got some nights we got 150 people in here watching the show, and most of them don't donate shit. They're just lurkers and watchers, like my cousin Matthew. Bitch. Matthew. I ought to show that donkey again, Matthew. So we ended up doing right at 2 hours tonight. Jayden, we're gonna have you back on again in the near future. I'm sure that you and the trade have traded places.
This has been such an honor. Happy to be here. I'm glad
to have you.
You were able to.
And like I said, we probably didn't talk enough about Lance Cade tonight. Let's real quickly. You all went to high school together?
Yeah, we sure did. I met Lance my junior year. He's a year behind me, and as a matter of fact, his birthday is the day after mine. He's 300.
Oh my God! Get out of here.
Younger than me. Yeah.
So when's your birthday?
So mine is 3/1 and his is 3/2.
Mine is 3/16.
Wow.
Steve Austin stole my birthday. My son is 3/16. My dog Choco is 3/16. My ex-girlfriend is 3/8.
Not very tall.
I dated one girl that had my birthday and we hated each other. We didn't last 3 weeks. So matching birthdays don't always work. So yeah, dated one girl born March 16. We're just meant to be together forever. We have the same birthday. Nah.
Yeah.
Probably the worst girlfriend I ever had. Billy Sellers stayed in there late tonight. He's normally gone at 10 o'clock. He enjoyed the show tonight.
He had to go to bed already.
So thank you, Billy. And Billy, your title belts do look good, but who'd you beat? Roll the video of you beating John Cena, and then I'll be impressed.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
And by the way, every time I book those hotels, I always close it with, I used to be in the wrestling business because they asked me, how did you start booking hotels? Well, I was in wrestling for 32 years, but I went back to the company I was working with before I got in wrestling. And long story short, do you know who John Cena is? Yeah. Of course they do. I think I've had one hotel manager in 8 years didn't know who John Cena was. One.
And that was an idiot.
That's famous. That's fucking famous. And I said, well, I got something cool for you to look at. I want you to look up John Cena, because I used to tell everybody John Cena versus Kenny Bolin. That's not how it's listed. It's even better. John Cena challenges Kenny Bolin.
Ooh.
Bring it on, bitch.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So that's
a
cool
match where somebody's unconscious and they just throw me on top of them.
And then if you look up Kenny Bolin, John Cena, Mark Cuban, you see how I introduced Cena to Cuban, and that's a slick video too. And then me and John Cena having a rap contest. I didn't do so good in that.
I was about to say, I don't think you probably.
Yeah, I don't take credit for winning that one. But so the hotel managers get a kick out of that. So one of the hotel managers wrote me back today out in Tucson, not probably too far from you. She writes me for Tucson. She's, oh my God, we were looking up your video and my staff was just laughing their ass off at how you won that match. And Sean O'Hare stopped me from using brass knucks on Cena. He stops me, and everybody thinks that Sean O'Hare saved the day. Sean takes those brass knucks and lays Cena out, and then I fall on top of him. So.
Kenny, do you think Sean O'Hare should have been much more than he was?
Yes, and I'll tell you what, the original gimmick they gave him was one of the greatest. Anybody out there watching right now, I want you to go on YouTube. I want you to go on YouTube and look up when Sean O'Hare was being introduced to the company. And what was his catchphrase? I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. And it was kind of political. Mm-hmm. It was kind of political. Because he would tell you shit to make you smarter, and it was something that he didn't do. That. Yeah, it was true shit. It was nothing like what he did here. He was more or less an enforcer and an intimidating looking badass. But they got him in a suit and tie and coming out doing these little vignettes that were fucking great. I was pissed we didn't think about it. And they would close every they did like 5 of them, I guess, 4 or 5. And every time they would show him and go, I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. And that was the point. You know this shit.
I always felt like that guy could have been main event easily.
I thought he could have been one of the biggest stars in the company with what they were doing. But Vince didn't get it. It wasn't Vince's idea. So Vince didn't get it. But he also didn't get Cena. He wanted to cut Cena.
Right.
Stephanie McMahon just recently told the story because I've told it. Nobody believed me. When Rico was getting cut, so was Cena. Mm. Steve Austin went to bat for Rico. Said, man, I've worked with him. I worked with him in Bolin down in Louisville. This guy's got something. You just cut him. Give him 90 days. You're paying him for 90 days. Let him be on the road with us for 90 days. Let me show you this kid's got something. This kid, he was 40.
Right.
And
right.
And I used to tell people, I said, we told Rico he was being cut, but we didn't tell Cena because we thought he'd get mad and take his ball, go home and make more movies because he was doing Manhunt at the time when he got to us. And we didn't think he would handle it well. So we didn't tell Cena that they were considering cutting him. And people to this day, oh, there's no way they were cutting Cena. Yeah, they were. So, and when you see the first video that me, Danny Davis, and Cena are in, God, what was the name of that first video they did about him? Not Word Life.
Thug Life.
Wasn't Thug Life.
Doctor of Thugonomics or some shit like that.
No, the very first one was
Word Life.
Nope.
Damn, I don't know then.
God damn it.
Was it Ruthless Aggression?
Nope. Wasn't that? Because I started making mock-up DVDs of the first video, and I started selling my own because I had more footage than the WWE did. So I went through making a mockery of the first DVD, John Cena, Our Life. That was the first one. So my second DVD, John Cena, The Rest of Our Life. Then it was John Cena, More of Our Life, and then John Cena, The End of Our Life. So I'm mass producing these DVDs and selling them. And so John's at Six Flags, and he sees me with all these DVDs in my briefcase. He said, what are you doing? I said, selling our DVDs. He said, WWE's going to have your ass over that. I said, no, I'm not selling the one that me, you, and Danny Davis are on. I made my own. What are the titles? So he's dying. He says, you got to be shit. The End of Our Life. I said, well, it's got to end somewhere. So little did we know that 25 years later, he'd still be up there making big money. So we didn't know that at the time. So
he did a little something with his career, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did a little something. It all worked out all right. So, but no, thank you for coming on, man. And we're going to tell more of those. We'll have you on again in the near future and get into more of the train, because you were Shawn Michaels was involved with training you, Lance Cade, Paul London, and Spanky. There's a story there that needs to be told one day, because not even I know all that story. And oh shit, what's his goddamn name?
Brian Daniel.
Brian Daniel, yeah, that's a pretty good. And that was really the only class Michaels had, right?
I mean, there was a class. There were a couple classes after me, and then the thing that was weird is that when Shawn started that school, like almost maybe 6 weeks in, his life kind of changed, and then all of his priorities changed because like wife got pregnant, and then the other is that in the beginning when he finally let us into the ring, you know, he was bumping with us.
Oh wow.
Right beside us, like bumping.
Danny Davis didn't do that.
And then he had to go get checked up. This is what we were told. He had to go get checked up. His doctors told him that he had loosened one of the screws in his back, and so they had to go in and retighten this screw.
Oh
and
shit!
So
yeah,
from there
that'll slow you up. That'll slow you up.
Shawn would come in all Percocetted up, and he was a complete asshole. Complete asshole for the rest of the time. But
I knew Shawn the asshole.
Okay, yeah.
And then when he found Jesus, Cornette was going. That was when Cornette said, "Yeah, apparently Jesus hangs out in wrestling locker rooms. They all find Jesus in a wrestling locker room." Well, there's a lot of work in those rooms. There's a lot to be done.
And
a lot of heathens.
And
a lot of heathens.
This was 99, so this was before Shawn.
Oh yeah, 99 is when we signed our contract with WWE.
Yeah, and so that was
apparently his school was fading out at that time as we were coming in, because we were considered like the third best one, because there was Cincinnati with
Les Thatcher,
and then Memphis was considered developmental. So you had Memphis, and then eventually we overtook all of them. I don't even know how it happened, but eventually they faded away and we became number one.
Well,
and then
Shawn Michaels that Booker took.
The other
What's
thing,
that?
I said, did Booker buy that school or
buy what school?
Shawn Michaels.
No,
okay.
I don't think so.
Rudy Boy.
Okay.
Yeah. So you had Booker involved, and then eventually Florida became involved. And Danny has said to this day, and me and Danny disagree on a few things, but if we had the budget that Florida got, we got by on crumbs, man. We were bean soup and cornbread. They got steak, filet mignon, shrimp, every goddamn luxury food you can name down there. Budget in their school, millions of dollars put into that school. And we're over there in the fucking $350 a month warehouse. And then eventually they put us into $1,000 a month warehouse and thought we were living like kings. Or maybe eventually the rent went up to like $2,500 because of where we were located. And plus we were the biggest thing going on in that parking lot. And we were taking up a lot of parking lot space on TV nights and Saturday nights. So they kept jacking our rent up because we were kind of an inconvenience to every other business in that parking lot. And things got pretty big, you know, because we had WWE stars coming in all the time. Fuck Tommy Dreamer coming down here, Paul Heyman. I mean, the Dusty Rhodes. I remember Dusty Rhodes come up to me one night at TV because Dusty comes out, the show's over, and Dusty comes out and says, "Now, any of you boys," and he's talking like Dusty. "Any of you boys got any questions, man? You just come up here and ask old Dusty, and see what I can." No one's asking him anything. So I walk up to Dusty and I start talking to him about Big Bubba Rogers, because Bubba wrestled one night on Monday Night Raw with my business card in his pocket. He was trying to get in touch with Cornette. Cornette was not in the WWE yet. And I'm backstage talking to Steve Kern as Skinner. And Bubba walks up and he said, "Man, you're Cornette's friend, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, man." I said, "How you doing?" I said, I knew him as something else. I forgot what he used to wrestle as, but I knew him from before. And he said, "Man," he said, "how will I get in touch with Cornette?" And I said, you ain't got Cornette's number? So I took out my business card from mortgage company I was working for. I think it was called Resource Factor. I remember the card now. So I wrote my number down and put it on the back of, I wrote Cornette's number down on the back of my business card. Handed it to Ray Traylor, I think was his real name. Yep. So I handed it to Ray. He works Monday Night Raw in the Louisville Gardens that night. My business card falls out into the middle of the ring during the match. I mean, I'm famous. Get us, zoom that card. And then Cornette's numbers on it. So they did not zoom the card.
Funny.
And then Ray during the match picks the card back up and puts it in his shirt pocket because he's wrestling in that prison get up. So he during the match picks up my card, puts it back in his pocket on a Monday Night Raw. I'd give anything to find that match because my business card got on Monday Night Raw and I thought I'd made the big time. That's a mark right there. That's my business card.
Well, hell, at least a piece of you was in the ring, right?
Excuse me?
At least a piece of you was in the ring.
My ink was in the ring. My ink was in the ring. And so we have been here a long time, so we better let everybody get out of here. And I'm going to contact a few of these Filipinos that are in need to get them taken care of on what they need. And once again, thanks to everybody that donated. If I left your name out, I apologize. I think we got all the challenges in. And a lot of you were a huge help tonight. Thank you so much, Pasta Tart. Good Chris with the $75 donation. Adam McNair with $120. Jeff Sanford, $50 again on top of the $150 he did a few weeks ago to help with those washing machines for some families. And the reason those washing machines are so important, try washing your bedding and all your clothing by hand. Try that once. They do it every week or two. They'll wash curtains, bedding, sheets, pillowcases, whatever they got by hand. And then they got to wring it out by hand and then hang it up on a clothesline and hope it don't rain. So these washing machines, when we can do this for people, is a big fucking deal. So, and the ones that are getting them are very appreciative. We bought a few over the years and 3 of them recently. And so anytime we can do that, it's a big deal. And I understand why families that don't have them get, well, what about me? Well, we can only afford so many. But as people watch the show and as people want to help, this is how you do it. So it's 11 o'clock. Some people got to work tomorrow. I'm one of them. I gotta call Davenport, Iowa tomorrow and hope their hotel's available for one fucking day.
You can get in touch with the Rollins family.
Yeah, I'll be. Oh, but shout out to
Black
my
family or whatever the hell.
Shout out to my sponsors. Big shout out to Kingfish. I got to give Kingfish. Kingfish treated us like kings the other day. We went over there, probably $120 worth of food for nowhere near $120. I can't say the amount because managers are scared you get in trouble, but they treated us real good. As a matter of fact, I got about 3 meals of fish in my refrigerator right now. Monday nights, all you can eat. Listen to this, guys. If you're ever in Louisville, Kentucky, and you got a Kingfish, there's only 2 of them around here. All you can eat either shrimp, catfish, or scrod, which is a type of cod, I guess.
I was about to say,
you can get all three, all you can eat for $35. Or if you just want one of them, pick the one you want, all you can eat for $25. In this day and age, in this market, that's a hell of a, and especially if you can eat. Now, me and my son have had weight loss surgery. We don't eat as much as we used to, but I got my friend Cameron went over there with us. Cameron swears to God he's going to put them in bankruptcy when he goes. He says, I'm going to drop the 35 and they're going to close the goddamn restaurant when I'm done. He says,
I'm literally shits every time he eats.
What's that now?
See the one that like literally shits every time he eats so he can
empty out multiple times. He will shit before he gets there. He will shit while he's there. He will shit during the middle of the meal and he'll shit before he leaves. And then shit again when he gets home. Damn. I used to be an every other day guy, but now that I'm doing a lot of protein shakes and shit like that, I do go every day now. People last Bolin talk about how often he shits. Well, it came up. It came up. But now that I'm doing a lot of protein shakes and have cut out a lot of carbs and all, Choco got to go out. She said, please don't tell him about you shitting because I got to go shit. I got to go shit, please. But no, we will do this again real soon, Jay. Yeah. Probably within the next 30 days, we'll do it again.
This has been great.
There's a lot of shit we didn't cover.
That would be great.
Because I talk a lot and we didn't get a lot of his shit in.
That's all right.
And he did give me your number, Jayden, so I'll get in touch with you this weekend because I will be in Nebraska soon.
Well, I thought I screenshot it to you. You didn't get it? Because he gave me permission to do that.
I just haven't been able to.
Well, fucking at it then. Quit being a dick.
You little bitch.
That turned sour all of a sudden, didn't it? Man donated $20 and I'm yelling at him.
If it's possible for it to hang out or whatever, man, or go somewhere and have lunch. I mean, if it's possible, man, I would.
Well, what state do you live in now?
I'm in Nebraska. I'm in
Well,
Omaha.
fuck, you go to Nebraska all the time, don't you?
That's what I just said. I'll probably be there in a few weeks. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's figure something
out. You don't got to be a dick to me just because I was a dick to you. You ain't got the right to do that. I dick you. You don't dick me, right?
Yeah, right.
Dick. Dick. Yeah. What he said. So no, it'd be great, man, for y'all to get together next time you go. Because he goes there quite a bit.
Yeah.
So and same fucking city, so I think it'll be easy enough to find each other. What do you think?
Yeah. Now I got to get with Rico too. Now that he's only like 2 hours up. Now.
He's not that far away, is he? No,
yeah, he's in Prescott.
No, he's pretty close. Yeah. And we need to get that done. And hey, if y'all end up in Louisville, go into Kingfish, baby. All you can eat. Oh, and if you go on Tuesday nights, if one person gets a platter, you can get a platter for about $15. The kids' meals is 3 pieces of chicken, fries, and a drink for $1.
That's awesome.
Chris got the kids' meal because he's had weight loss surgery and he don't eat much anymore. So he's over there with the kid meal. The bill comes, it's $1.
That's awesome.
One parent goes, 2 kids eat for $1. That ain't too fucking bad. Yeah, so remember that if you're going to the Kingfish over in Jeffersonville. I'm about to cough my head off. My dog's telling me she's got to go. No exit music tonight. Well, it will play exit music.
It'll do it on its own.
So until probably Tuesday night, I'm the Star Maker. That's Jayden Draigo. That's the Coletrane. Thank you, everybody. And we did say good day.